for initiative because we are live.
Yay.
Hello. All right, y'all. Welcome to the
Level
third, welcome to the third
Finish.
episode of Windfall. We are so happy to be here with you today. Hey, y'all.
Woo.
So, something I failed to mention at the end of last week's episode is I thought after the trials and tribulations of the first 2 episodes, we'd go ahead and level up to level 4. So,
Yes.
the party is now able to take a little bit more of that punishment that I deal out.
No.
Just a little bit.
Yeah,
Just a little bit.
unlike competing role-playing systems, you don't roll for HP when you level up. You just get the amount of points.
And you're going to need it.
And then we get those points beaten out of us.
Unlike competing DMs, ours likes to punish us.
Balanced punishings is all what I'm about. A little bit of housekeeping before we get started into the episode itself. First and foremost, I would like to thank Californians for composing our theme song, which I love so much. I'm so glad it's getting a use. Thank you for creating that and letting us use it. Just, out of the kindness of your heart, that was so nice of you, Californians, so thank you for that. Thank you for the other... Brooks, I have to stop. There's a very important announcement. Your patterned pocket looks very nice.
Thank you.
That is very pressing.
His eyes are up here, chat.
No, it's fine.
I would also like to thank chat for their interaction last time. That is really what this campaign was meant to be, is that I really wanted to welcome you to our table, and the amount of just back and forth we had, it was wonderful. So,
And by that he means the campaign would have ended because we would all
If we didn't use all the hero points.
So everyone that is watching, everyone that's checked out our YouTube page, which just got started, and everyone that's been following us on Twitch, YouTube, watching the clips, our shorts, and just supporting us in any way, to the lurkers, to the subscribers, and to everyone that's out there. Thank you so much, because this has been really fun so far. We weren't sure how this is going to turn out, but after the first couple of weeks and seeing how everything is, I love this. This is a lot of fun.
It is a lot of fun.
so much fun.
Brooks, your eyes are pretty too.
And
Chat is referring to everyone by their characters' names, which I guess is only
Good.
natural.
Don't dox me.
It helps get me in character.
I wonder
what Mitchum could be.
I wonder what Mitchum's real name is.
Daryl.
Let's get some Mitchumies in the chat.
Oh wait, I doxed myself.
Point of order: there will be no Windfall next Saturday. We'll have an off week, so go ahead and get caught up. Check out your shorts, get your highlights in. Yeah. There's some IRL stuff going on that we are going to just go ahead and take next week off, and we will be back proper.
That doesn't mean, however, that you won't necessarily see anything in our YouTube channel. We might still cut some stuff together. Certainly you'll see this episode that we currently are recording, and maybe a couple of promo cuts or something.
Yeah. And speaking of special things, I do want to take a moment and just recognize Graydon, our wonderful producer here who plays Ernie. Not only is a wonderful member of this party, but has been doing all the YouTube stuff. I mean, editing videos, pumping out like 5-minute recap videos before the episode each week.
Sacrificing his loaded ring time
in the studio.
Yeah, they take more than 5 minutes to do.
If you've ever done any amount of video editing, you know that even like a basic cut takes a while. So thank you so much, man, from the bottom of my heart.
I am happy to do it.
It's wonderful. Anything else? Anyone get anything cool for level 4? We're going to talk about that later.
Yeah, I'm gonna save mine. I mean, I'm a rogue, so like I didn't get any new spells, but I'm gonna save it for the moment for myself.
I love it. All right. Then without any further ado, let us go ahead and get into episode 3 of Windfall in our return to the Sleeping Sea. The Windfall sails into view, careening a little too quickly as she skirts the shoreline. The evidence of the storm apparent on her hull, the scarring across the bow, the chips and bits of busted wood. Still, she is a welcome sight. Salvation away off this island, and the ticket to your futures, your destiny. And she starts to turn. The sails tilt, and the ship begins to move away
We should.
No,
we
no,
should.
no, no, no.
Hold on. Wait
Well,
a second.
okay, what's everyone doing?
I light the inn on fire.
You.
We need to make a signal
Wait,
fire.
what? Okay, you're gonna have to give me something. No, you guys have been traveling. Did you? No, you had just left
We,
the inn.
we were up at near the inn when
Yeah.
we saw the ship in the distance.
So to set the sort of image for Idle Bay, it is a large sort of crescent-shaped island, and you are up on a mountainous hilltop region where the inn and the freshwater lake are, and you can see several thousand feet away the Windfall starting to turn. And you said you're just gonna light the inn
Yeah,
on
so
fire.
I took 2 bottles of booze from this inn
Okay.
2 sessions ago. I'm gonna uncork one.
Okay.
And start pouring it on the bar top.
Okay.
And then I smash the other one into the bar top, and I light it all on fire.
And it is, like I said, I believe my last episode or the episode before that, I described it as like rum-soaked wood that's been like sitting for a while.
Yep.
So Ernie, like without a word to you guys, you just see him.
Look, I know I've been lighting stuff on fire a lot lately, and typically I would not do this on a ship, but we have got to get their attention. I am not saying that.
Ernie, this is called the captain's lantern, not the quartermaster's lantern.
I'm just glad we got the residents out.
Well,
As ghostly as they were, I think they liked having a house.
yeah, I didn't want to, but I'm not getting left behind.
And it absolutely begins toasting. I assume you all just like stand to the side of this thing.
I'm gonna actually
Stand in front of it so we cast shadows if they spy glass over
okay.
here.
Actually, I then pull out a mirror that
Okay.
I have in my backpack, and I start trying to signal towards the ship.
So to shine in their eyes, like, oh, what's
Yeah.
that? Blinking at
Kai
me.
is gonna basically take aim and launch a spell strike into the air with max volume ghost sound as close as he can to the ship.
Interesting.
Oh, shooting
interesting.
a ghost sound. That's
It's not
very
really a skill check, but I want to make you roll something for that.
Roll for cool.
Roll for volume.
Yeah, let's roll for volume.
Oh hell yeah!
Roll and add your spell attack modifier. I think
Sure,
that makes sense.
that's big.
It's
How does
big.
it roll?
Okay, let's go for it.
I just lit the inn on fire and stuff.
Okay, 21.
A
For no
21.
reason.
So the crack of the Giselle hollows out across the empty space of Idle Bay, and then the ghost sound is gonna be what?
I just wanted to go, magnificent!
So you guys see the Windfall sails now fully away from you, catching the wind, and then you see just on the outskirts of your vision, what you can see, you see a dark shape being thrown into the water, and you see it just making way too sharp of a turn. That you assuredly, anyone less skilled than Mr. Darrow would have certainly wrecked the ship on the shoals here.
Oh no,
And
wreck
the
the ship.
Windfall does begin turning back towards Idle Bay, towards all of you.
Thank Lilidria. All right, let's move.
Just like the blaze. Is
Yeah.
like,
I still got eyebrows?
yeah.
Their final wishes were to be cremated.
They didn't say that.
not to you.
I think that's fun anyway.
Must have been when the lantern was off.
Yeah. It was after you went to bed. All right, let's go.
Yeah, start making our way downtown.
Okay. So you go, and there's this black smoke just billowing up in the air. The smell of rum and hot spice, just assailing your senses, which is a phrase I use way too much, but here we are.
You don't think
It's
that'll,
the- it's
you
the
don't think
pun.
that'll catch the
And
forest?
it begins.
Do you?
I mean,
I don't think it was close enough to the tree line, to be honest.
There's water around.
Well, we'll find out.
This island's cursed anyway.
There's nothing left. You've killed everything.
Mr. Scaryface killed everything.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna turn from Idle Bay to Effigy Bay, so we should just go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's go.
Well,
Right?
Yeah. I do want to remind everyone that you start each session with 1 hero point and any hero points you have.
that is.
Oh,
that's right.
yeah,
bless.
thank you.
Not that you're gonna need those. Or
Oh,
anything, right?
I just lost hero points.
Oh yeah. You gotta spend them. That's what they're there for. You can't hoard them up.
There weren't enough things that I could do to spend all the hero points that I got.
You were burdened through them.
I was burdened with hero points.
Suffering from success. The Brooks story. So, you make your way. You have to kind of climb down the hillside of Idle Bay The rocky path is a sheer face on the other side rather than the crescent that you just came up. So you guys have to actually do some climbing, and with like mountain climbing equipment and like whatever Ernie's winch that you have, just like rappelling down and climbing and getting some scrapes and bruises along the way, but not. Will you stop? They can't see that, so they're gonna think I'm insane.
I know, it's fine.
He's got a laser pointer and he's dancing it in front of me like a little cat. Y'all can't see the table where he's pointing it. You make it to the ship.
I didn't do it.
You make
Yeah,
it to
you know
the
You make it to the ship. Alright.
Once we get down on the beach, I blow the signal whistle in what I'm gonna say is a signal of the crew of the Windfall, so that they know we're
SOS.
friendly. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that signal?
I can't.
No.
Copyrighted.
Just shave it there.
It's a very royalty-free toot that you perform.
The royalty-free
We'll
Provided by
contact California and
Totally.
have him compose us a royalty-free
Totally not Tokyo
toot.
Drift.
for
I'll put the
Windfall.
whistle in post.
Put the whistle in post. So, speaking of post, a rope is tied around one on the side of the ship, and the rope ladder is thrown down. And they say, "It's them! It's them! It's members of the crew!" And who is first back up on the Windfall?
Me.
All right, Wesley.
You just jump over. You don't even climb the ladder.
A strong hand of a crewman grabs you and pulls you aboard the deck, and you are like met with like claps on the back and like, "Yeah, Wesley, you all right? Like, welcome back!" Like people are genuinely so excited, and you can see people are kind of harrowed. Looks like the past 2 days have not been kind to most people here. There's also fewer sailors than you are used to seeing aboard the Windfall, but most of all, you see Mr. Darrow. He quickly helps the rest of you on board, the helmsman of the ship. He has that stern look, and even though he looks like he's, about ready to smack someone, he still has that air of like, okay, this is good. Like, less like his friends are okay and more like, hey, an asset, just return to the ship. He helps everyone up on the ship, and now you're all on the deck, and there's a crowd of the sailors around you, just sort of crowding around and like clapping each other on the back.
I appreciate you stopping and picking us up. We weren't quite sure if we were going to catch you in time.
Well, it's good to see you back. There are duties which have been neglected in your absence. There's a lot more work to be done.
I immediately kind of step so that I'm standing next to him and looking at the rest of the group. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of work that needs to get done.
And as you are a higher ranking official than Mr. Darrow, he does stand to the side because you are now the highest ranking official on the deck. And the crew all kind of like turn towards Ernie, and they're like,
So what are the state of things?
well, and as soon as a sailor starts talking, there's a sound of wood on wood and the shattering of glass as the captain's cabin doors are swung wide open, and you hear, "Oh, damn!" And you hear heavy footfalls scuffling towards you. The heavy footfalls of fine leather boots pounding against the top deck. As the captain arrives, he is a somewhat imposing figure. Not tall, around 5'8", but of an impressive bulkiness that may put him in the upwards of several hundred pounds. Swaying in the wind is his captain's topcoat, a long scarlet lavish thing with embroidered buttons and huge cuffs. His shirt underneath is fine silk, and he is adorned head to toe in lavish jewelries of the most gaudy and ostentatious sort. Though most would not notice these things about the appearance of the captain, Melicato the Magnificent. Most are distracted by the fact that his overly large hands have only 3 fingers, or that the skin on them and the rest of him is a deep cerulean blue. He has scale-like patches all over his body, like some sort of natural callus that's grown, and he has no hair to speak of. Instead, he wears a protrusion, like a chitinous cartilage-filled strand. Think like the Asari hair from Mass Effect. And he has them over his lips and upside down as well, almost like a biker / horseshoe style like mustache made of cartilage and chitin. And he is laughing.
Captain on deck.
And he looks, and all the men do like stand at attention. Excellent to see more members of my crew arrive today. So glad to see you well, Mr. Murrenstock. I feel much more secure now that I know our inventory will be well looked after. It's best if you take stock quickly. The storm did a number on our ship. Mr. Kai, my master gunner. We all feel safer knowing that you're here. And he comes over and he shakes your hand. Oh, yeah. Mr. Brooks, a good bosun is so hard to replace. I'm so happy I will not have to train another one.
Yeah, as he's talking, Brooks just like looks past him and sees like just broken shit all behind him. and then the camera turns back. Turns back to Brooks, and then it pans to the side, and you see like a tree fall over in the distance and like fire spreading.
Take a hero point. I love you so much.
It's just like.
Then he turns to Wesley, and you, my young lad, and he pats you on the back.
Wesley, sir. Wesley.
Wesley, my good boy, and he pats you,
Oh.
and he rubs your shoulder.
Captain
Welcome back.
Melicado the Magnificent, sir. And I reach in my pack and I pull out the jewels that we found in the house. These were yours.
You found them in the wreckage.
Yeah.
Magnificent, if I may.
Yeah, give them back to
What's
him.
the name?
Wesley Roberts, sir.
Wesley Roberts. You're a fine addition to my crew. I'll be looking out for you.
He's actually been with us for a while.
Oh, yes, of course he has. And what an asset he has been. He takes the chest, and you watch inside the full crew. He takes it and begins to shove it into his chest. And his chest over his clothes begins to glow like this bright
I wish he
blue.
in private.
And it goes shh, as if some sort of portal opened up, and then it closes, and the chest is no more. Safe and sound. Thank you, Wesley. And oh my! Were you marooned on that island? You poor thing. Was she starving? Do we have a rescue on board?
No,
Welcome to the Windfall. I am Melicado the Magnificent.
Right.
You look like you haven't eaten. Well, you'll have to work, but you are a welcome member of my crew as long as
we thought she could be the cook.
the cook. Excellent! I'm in need of a new cook. I lost my last one in the storm, unfortunately. Well, we lost a
Real
cook.
shame.
And how do you have familiarity in the kitchen?
I do. On a ship, surprisingly enough.
Oh, magnificent! Fortune is smiling on me
He
today.
does this every time.
You know, sometimes.
And what was your name, dear?
Cordelia.
Lovely. Write that down for me. Well, I say this is a most successful venture. And then he pulls you aside. I'm so happy to have all of my crew back. Ernie, we're fucked.
Yeah, I kind of got the sense of that.
Ernie, there's
'cause you
nothing,
came
there's
out in
nothing
person.
left on this fucking ship.
Oh God.
There's no food. There's no water.
Hardtack.
It's
Soft tap.
there's only some soft tack.
It's softened.
Have you ever left dough out overnight? It expanded, and we were using them as lifeboats. But
It proved.
trust me, I used to work in pizza. I've seen this shit happen.
Can you imagine?
It proved
We
unreliable.
were floating on the soft tack, but when we went to eat it, it was entirely too salty. So now there's no soft tack left.
I see.
What about the? And he looks back at the island where the natural resources are now burning from the fire that you started.
Yeah, I don't think that island's gonna work. Some big flaming hand came out of the ground.
Shit happens.
I know.
All right.
Must have missed that.
Well, I'm glad
It's
to have
not
you
a
and
good
Kai
grabbed.
and Brooks back, but these newcomers, they're gonna have to. Wesley and the
Yeah, I think
emaciated girl, they'll have to.
I think they're gonna be good. They seem like they really would belong with the crew.
Yeah, so here's the deal. You've got to figure this shit out.
I know.
And I'm going to keep
Leave.
up the spirits.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So do not take personal offense if during the next couple of days, there's some chastisement. You wouldn't hold it personally.
I mean, you mean of me?
Oh, yes.
Okay, that's fine. Wink.
Yeah. yes. And he winks. He also has 2 additional eyes on his forehead, which he always keeps closed, and he only uses these 2. But you feel like you see one flicker at this moment. So, and he says, "Well, It's about time you got things in order, Mr. Murrenstock. Why don't you go take some stock?
Mostly chocolate.
Yeah, I'm gonna go find out exactly how much extra food we have.
I'll help you take stock of the kitchen.
Thank you, Cordelia. I'll show you where it is.
It's just a very deep sigh, and you see she kind of sinks a little further in on herself. She shuffles past.
Yeah,
I kind of pat Cordelia on the back. It's like, maybe he has memory problems too.
Maybe. Maybe.
okay. Is the captain still here?
He is like standing around and he's like, don't worry, everything's better now. It's wonderful.
I turn to Mr. Darrow. So, how bad is the ship? How far can we go?
If you're wanting honesty, I think we could make it 5 days at sea. We need some repairs. We need some things fixed. If we were to head into open water, I think that we'd be absolutely obliterated before too long.
Who would be in charge of, like, who's our navigator? Would that fall under his purview, or do we have someone that actually, like...
We have a navigator.
Joe, your navigator.
Is someone?
Is someone
Was
that
it-
we have on
Did we
this
find
list.
Cass as the navigator?
Say again,
I think it was
Cass.
Cass.
So
Yeah.
your
One-armed Dampier.
yes, your navigator is Cassiopeia, who is a Dampier. She wears a hat with a huge feather. She is missing a left arm, and she is always surrounded by some flock of admirers. And right now, they are admiring her trying to chart a course, like pointing at all of these different maps.
All right, how about this? Mr. Darrow, me, you, and Cass are going to go find out which island we can limp to. Cordelia, could you please just go find out how much food we have? Go find some people that remember you. I don't know what's going on. Just go find some food and see how much we have.
I should make sure we can make the journey.
Yeah, just see what repairs are possible with what we have. Kai, maybe take stock of our defensive capabilities if we get attacked at sea.
Oh yeah, sure.
Which one of y'all could use Wesley?
He's very useful
I agree.
wherever he is.
He really...
Seems excited to be of some assistance.
Would you like to give me a hand?
Sure. I mean,
Just
if you only
in
need the
case-
one,
Just in
Riley
case
could-
Riley... Well, you know, in case she's...
you know, now that I think about it, we have a lot of people missing appendages on this
Yeah.
vessel.
Comes with the
Yeah.
territory, I guess.
Hazards of the job, really.
Sure, I'll help you in the kitchen.
All right. So let's cut to the kitchen. The kitchen first, I suppose. You go down there and you're,
Yeah, she's just kind of like...
and then there's a.
She's still.
Actually,
she made it.
Of
Dang
course
it.
she did.
What's your AC?
18.
18. There is a halfling hug as whoosh, wrapped around your leg is Riley, and she looks up to you with her grin. She's missing a lot of teeth, and she smiles up. Was right worried that you'd never come back. I was.
Well, I'll tell you what, Riley. It is very nice to have someone remember me.
I wouldn't forget you. And she like looks down, and like there's a moment of like thoughtfulness, and then there's a pensive look that you've never seen on Riley's wretched face in her life. She says, "I think you're the only friend I've got."
You're gonna make
She
her cry.
literally does like the... and kind of like shuffles down to hug her.
And she gives you the warm hug, and she taps. She says, "Look, I've been head cook while you've been gone." And she.
Oh no.
Do you want to see what she's been cooking?
It's a head.
You gotta do the
There's-
cooking by the book.
There's like a heavy sigh as she releases the hug. Of course, dear. What did you get up to?
I tried to boil up some of the soft tack that we was using as life rafts, but
That sentence is so stupid.
It's rather brilliant.
welcome to Tabletop Role Playing Games, where we say things.
Words are our best words.
Wasn't doing us much good. Wasn't edible. So what we did was we tried to catch some fish with it, but it killed the fish right when they ate it from the salt content.
They're saltwater fish.
Yeah.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That's how bad that
Imagine
is.
how salty.
Well, I mean, if they're dead, they should be easy to catch.
Oh, they're preserved.
She kind of murmurs, and you see like on her neck the face of Emrys, who still hasn't reverted from the tattoo form, and it's very close to her ear, so that he can kind of speak to her. She just kind of whispers, "I'm not entirely certain it was the salt, Emrys."
And she says, "Then I took one of your knives," and she like holds up one of your knives, which is now like bent sideways and like all messed up. "I took your learning to heart, I did."
You sure did.
She smiles like proud, but I'll be honest, gutting a fish a little harder than gutting a man. So, and then she points to the soup, and there is a soup. There is one bowling ball sized soft tack in the middle of the broth, and then there's fish. There's 3 fish that are like half skeleton, like you would see in like a cartoon, half skeleton, and the rest have just been like someone took through a paper shredder.
Solid effort. You know, I can really see how much work you're putting into this. Oh, here we go again. She'll take a bite of it.
Okay.
Purify food and drink.
Bite is an interesting word there. It's more like a. But there is some there's the level
Does it fight back like the soft tack
Well,
did?
one of the fish does flap around in your mouth a little bit. Like it's like.
That's fresh.
It was very fresh.
Very fresh. I'm gonna go serve. I see what everyone else thinks.
Oh, of course.
Soup's on! And she's gonna run upstairs.
Right to it, dear. And she kind of pats her shoulder. Oh. Wesley, we've got a lot of work to do.
Seems like she had everything figured out. It's like with a bowl of
I just love the giant matzo ball in the middle of the
Yeah. It's like gosh, like you know those stones that people use for baking.
I was about to say, I
sometimes? Yeah.
imagine that if you tapped it, it's like a tink, tink, tink.
Wait, please go tap it. It's like seawater shoots up like a geyser. It's like one of those $800 like desserts where like has the stuff on the inside.
How hard was the hard tack if the soft tack is making metallic sounds?
It's even harder tack.
It's
now.
even
Oh,
harder
no.
tack. Hardest tack.
hard attack, hard tack.
Hardest tack. Oh boy.
Okay.
So,
Well, rip those guys that are eating that.
I can't keep up with all these new Pokemon.
let's I'll get back to y'all. Let's cut to Brooks. What are you up to?
I feel like he would go to the very bottom to make sure that there's nothing. The bottom seems most important to make sure it's intact because I don't want any water.
There's water in the bottom deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And our ship canonically doesn't have any freaking buckets.
It has been canonically established that there are no buckets aboard the Windfall.
Okay, so I guess he's gonna spend some time. Well, do I have magic for this? Can I just
You tell
magic
me.
this away? No.
Remove water.
Chad says onboard swimming pool.
Oh. Well,
Wow.
I guess like sloshing around in the water, he's gonna see if he can find sort of like the source or multiple sources of where it would be coming from.
That's going to be a perception check to investigate for sure. Or do you have a profession that you're using to repair things?
I don't.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering.
I don't have anything. I am the bosun
Mm-hmm.
because I think I had a hammer
Oh yeah.
when I showed up, and they were like, "Oh."
You have equipment. All right. Bosun.
So
You must know what you're on about.
I'm learning on the job. A natural one.
A natural one. So failure.
Learning on the
And a natural one brings
Yeah.
them to a crit failure. So you're like, "Ah, what would they do without me?" And suddenly you have a much bigger problem. Like you've played Sea of Thieves, right?
Uh-huh.
It's like when you're repairing, and then suddenly the cannonball hits and there's just more water pouring in. And I imagine like Brooks just kind of stands there for a second and it just pours on you as like
I think it's like just pouring on me. He's like, didn't see that one coming. And I guess like, are there any just like Are there any crates down here?
Yeah, there's crates.
Okay, he's
Kinda
gonna
floating around.
he's gonna
Yeah.
smash a crate and grab like a lid from it and like put the whole lid on top of like that big hole they just made.
Okay, you smash a crate.
Okay, I'm gonna use the lid of that as the
What was in that crate?
Hang on.
hardtack.
So you smash it. You just smash a crate open, and all of this black powder just spills out into the water. It just like absolutely just sloshes because a certain someone never moved the crate back upstairs from episode 1. Kai, at that moment, you walk downstairs trying to take inventory.
Kai walks down and
Kai, I
just
think
sees
your black powder didn't survive
just sees Brooks completely coated in black
No!
with it floating out of the water.
The powder. There's no talking out of this one.
Use ventriloquism. It seems to work.
I'm not even mad at you. I have a system. They go on the second deck. Why are they here? Why are they down here?
Exactly. This is the guy that did this is dead.
Yes.
Darren's revenge.
It comes full circle. He's gonna take some water and just like splash powder off of him. I don't want someone with like a wayward flame coming near me.
Oh Lord.
Is that and it like points at the lid of the crate that's like half
That
stapled
says
to the
powder.
that's half stapled to the wall. This shit.
Black powder, do not smash.
And there's like the water's like kind of dripping out from underneath it because you haven't finished nailing it to the wall. And he's like, is that gonna be a problem? We're taking on water at an alarming rate.
So I was saying that's excessive.
To answer your question, this is a problem. I need more wood. I need people to get this water out of here.
I'm gonna go get the powder monkeys. I'll be. And Kai will
still
walk
hurt.
back up to go find Flintlock Wit and.
There's no talking out of this one.
Well, I hope they survived. We'll find out.
It's okay, they got names.
Well.
It would be Rosamund would be your other powder monkey.
But are they okay? Do I really have 2 powder monkeys still?
So you do see both of your powder monkeys alive and well at this moment in time.
Okay. Flintlock, Rosamund.
Yeah.
It's not really part of your usual job, but we really need you below decks.
Oh, something shot.
Yeah, I need you to shoot some water off the ship. Just come on.
You see, he was like debating the logistics of that. Like he opened up his like, and they're gonna follow you down there, and they will assist Brooks.
I'm walking past and I toss a gun to Flintlock and I'm like, hey, you left this on the beach, dumbass. And I keep walking.
And he tips it to you, like a hat, and he heads on downstairs.
So now I'm imagining at this point, like, people went down to check how the ship's doing. They're like, that's a lot of water. Let's just ignore this.
Does that sound like the crew of the Windfall to you?
Yes.
Yes, that's what happened.
They're like, ooh,
Not my problem.
Hang on, let me check the chore chart. It's Brooks' turn.
The chore chart is just Brooks all the
It just
way
said
down.
Brooks all the way down.
I mean, I have.
Who's the other bosun on this ship?
Except for some spots where Wesley has crossed out Brooks and written his own name.
I thought the other
I'm
bosun
helping.
is also missing an arm, or am I crazy?
No, there are 2 people missing an arm.
It's
on
Riley
this.
and Cass
Cass.
that are missing
Yeah.
an arm.
Who's the other
Correct.
bosun? Oh, it was the blind one.
Yes.
Yes, that would
The
be
blind goblin?
The blind goblin.
Mirinth?
Yes.
Mirinth is the other
Yes.
bosun.
So what's she up to?
You hear.
About 3 feet.
Well, you
Just
hear.
like hitting air.
She's under the water. Blah, blah, blah.
as you see, it's like a puzzle in like a Banjo-Kazooie when you like plug the hole of the water drains. And you see like Mirinth, she goes, and she like coughs out one of Riley's like half like just carved fish, and she says,
She uses like a plug so she wouldn't drown.
ugh. And she says, "Who's there?"
It's me.
Oh, I could tell from the ineptitude. Just kidding. It's good to have you back, Brooksy. Mirinth is a little female goblin. Her eyes are milky white and kind of grayed over with some sort of like film over them. She has 15 glistening bracelets up and down. Bracelets, other words for bracelets. Bangles, thank you.
Angles and
I was trying to think of the word bangles, but I almost called them bongos. I'm like, that's not the right word.
I've got some bongos hanging.
Bracelets.
almost spoke that into canon.
Bracelets, bongos, and other things. She has many, many adornments on her arm, up and down, that literally jangle as she walks.
A percussionist by trade.
She takes out a hand into her little she wears like a little vest, like a little purple one, and then this sort of long sort of seer's robe that she's cut into this little sort of half street jacket thing, and she takes out a bunch of bones and she throws them on the ground. Oh,
Just floating in the water.
it's not good, Brooksy. The bones, they tell me. I foresee. You've got to do the repairs.
Coming back down the stairs.
Can
You can't even see those.
She picks up the bones and puts them in her pocket. I believes it when I sees it, Mira. So for those that don't understand why they might be laughing, we collaboratively created some NPCs here. So someone made up that Mirinth was a blind goblin, and then we randomly generated catchphrases to give to these characters, and she just so happened to end up with that one.
Believes it when I see it.
Mirror. I added the mirror on the end of it. That was my catchphrase.
She just happens to be blind too.
I am messing with you. It's good to have you back, Brooksy.
Well, I'm glad to be here and not on. Well, I guess it doesn't. There's not much left.
Stuck somewhere in life. Aimless. Idle.
Why? Am I on camera?
Have you been watching me?
That's right, farm boy. And she slaps you on the butt.
I just want to put this place behind me.
Right. Well, I'll be honest with you. You don't have to be a seer to see things are going a little wrong.
He looks around. He's not around here.
Another hole in the ship. If you don't do something about it, I don't think the Windfall is going to make it much longer.
Well, what can we do about that? It's always been this way.
I don't know. I'm just a humble goblin offering advice.
You can't see me, but I'm squinting at you.
She smiles. I'll get to my work, and you see to yours.
You go low, I'll go high.
Sure.
Or I can pick her up
Not in your life, boy.
to reach the hard to reach areas.
I did miss that humor. And she'll just goes off and she does start to fix stuff up. So Ernie, you had previously thrown a gun over to Flintlock. Where were you headed?
I was walking towards Cass
Okay.
as
You can.
I passed Flintlock on the
Come
top deck and
over,
have been
Phil.
carrying his gun since looting Darren Stingy.
Cass, her absolute pale skin, this gigantic hat, which is completely shading her from any sunlight. She sits back and she is rubbing her brow. It would be so much easier to think, and then she slams her hand on the table. If I had some goddamn breathing room, and you see everyone just kind of scatter away from her. Of course, I didn't mean you, Quartermaster. I would never mean any disrespect.
Yeah, Cass, as one of 8 competent people on this ship, I've got 2 questions for you. Where the fuck are we, and where the fuck can we get?
Well, and she kind of starts looking at. She pulls up the map that you have posted in the Discord. If you want to pull up your map, we've ended up in the Sleeping Sea, which is a expanse of land of sea. There's not expansive land. We're in the Sleeping Sea, or somewhere to the northwest of Tarva, a little bit above Gold Run as well. Too far south now to make it back to Arla, and frankly, we wouldn't survive if we tried to sail straight south. Before we go anywhere, the ship's got to be fixed, and I'm a little afraid that, and she like motions towards the sky, one of those freak storms will put us out next time.
Yeah. The thing is, that storm, we don't quite know what caused it, but it seems to be, Mr. Darrow and Cass and I are the only ones at this table. I kind of make sure that the crew is not too close. I lean in. It was, supernatural, maybe even divine in its origin.
She leans forward and starts like, she has really long fingernails, painted black, and she sort of scrapes one across the map. You have confirmation on this?
Let's just say I've seen enough to know that the gods are active in this area. And I don't know which of the gods of the sea has taken a dislike, but somebody means to, someone's has it out for, if not us, anyone in this area. That said, I don't think we can really plan for it.
Oh, I'll tell you one thing. It's not us. It's the captain.
Tell me more.
Well, I don't like to say too much, but my position aboard this ship has been secure because of the leverage that got me on board in the first place.
You can read a map.
I can read a map, and I can read people. And I can read whatever the captain is, if that counts as people.
What do you mean? He's from Arlo.
She like stone faced looks at you.
I am just stone faced right now.
Yes, you Arlanders are a very diverse lot.
Mm-hmm. I think he's from the north part.
She just like, you can see that she's getting a little frustrated at you. Her nails just like scratch and tear through the map just a little bit. I've always been one that was careful with information, so I like you, Arnie. I really do. I don't trust you no more than I could throw you, which is, frankly, probably pretty far, even with one arm.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll volunteer this. If the gods are after us, we need to do something. We need to either solve the captain's problem or solve the captain problem.
Look, we both know that the captain doesn't do a lot on this ship, but we also both know that the captain pulls miracles out of his ass at weird times. He can sell anything that we get in weird places to people that want to buy it for full value.
And that he is skilled at. And I'm not suggesting the M word. I would never breathe sound of such a thing. I would never breathe sight. I would never breathe sound of such a thing. Especially because the first mate, for whatever reason, and like you can see her voice like drop a little bit, and that like respect and like a little bit of fear coming to her. For whatever reason, the first mate respects him. And frankly, we're gonna leave him alone.
I understand.
So I'll follow orders, but I'm also going to do what I can to make sure that I'm taken care of. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Now that means
I look at the map where she has us, and I want to look and see where on the grid she has us marked as our current location.
so. You are currently marked, and let me pull up a little Discord here so I can see my map. Everyone, feel free to look at your map on your phone.
Oh boy, I am.
Oh, we get to use our phones in class?
Map. You can use your
Those
phone.
of you in chat, we have a Discord, and the map is posted there.
It's pretty.
We might work on a way of getting it
Idle Bay
available to see for you, but
is H11. That huge island is
was that
Idle
one?
Bay. That's
Oh, wow.
where you're coming from. Yes.
Oh, that was
So
a
she
big island we
points.
set
She
behind.
points at the different quadrants.
We set that whole island on fire.
Well, no, there's only the one forest, right?
wow,
So-
look, it's already dying off. over
It's
there.
a big forest.
There's a second forest.
God, that really is a blaze. Who knew?
I think it's gonna stop soon.
It doesn't look like it. No, it looks like you. If I had to estimate, and I'm pretty good with numbers, I'd say you burned half of the available natural resource on that island. If this was some sort of
Maybe if you're rounding up from like 8%.
yeah, maybe so. But if there were to say, some sort of survival aspect to our crew, you may have gotten rid of half of what we needed to survive.
Wow.
Cass, your
Wow.
nose is
Rarely
big.
is life so quantifiable, though, don't you know?
It's interesting. I don't like to treat life like a game, but if this were a game, I'd say you just put us on hard mode.
Holy.
Yeah, that is a funny way of looking at it. I hadn't really
is.
considered it like that, but I like to think of our wit is our own little cheat code and just kind of set things back to how it was.
Yeah. So there are 4 islands we can get to, and she points: H8, I8, H12, and F10. Those are the only ones that we can sail to with our current supplies. And you, as the quartermaster, should check in with both Master Kai and Mistress Cordelia to make sure that everything is in order.
That was H8,
H8, I8, H12, and F10.
H12 is the one I missed.
Each square on this map, and she points to the map, and I am so sorry to chat, I did not put the map on screen. It's going to be a little difficult for me to do that right now. But
We'll get that for you next time.
I can do it at the break. I can put the map up. Each square in there represents 1 day of sailing.
Oh.
Yes.
And the island we're at now is pretty big.
It's
Are we on
several-
the southern bay?
You are on the northern tip, actually.
Oh, that makes sailing to one of those smaller islands much
H8
more
possible. Yeah.
accessible.
So, I'm going to introduce a little bit of the Windfall mechanics. So we're going to kind of pull out of the canon of the story real quick for me to explain the game stuff, because we are playing a game.
I deeply looked into the map, and all of a
You
sudden
zoomed
the
in.
terrain comes up, the stats and figures
Yeah, it's
start
like
to
the war board thing. Like,
yeah,
it's
like Dragon Age
select your
Inquisition,
mission.
right?
To control
So, this is not a survival campaign per se, but there's going to be survival aspects to it. I'm not going to make you track your own individual food and things of that nature, but the crew, you need to keep the Windfall alive. Cordelia, taking stock, salvaging what you can. Actually, I want you to roll a d20. You don't want to roll?
Roll a d20, and we're starved to death.
Yeah, no, it's
Roll a d20. This is a flat check.
I already rolled a natural one.
We don't need to keep track of our
11.
personal food.
11. That's going to be a straight baseline.
Flat
You
just
have
rounds,
enough supplies to
You
keep
have
the
it, you don't have to
Windfall
eat a grape.
alive
We need to get
for
everyone alive.
11 years.
4 days.
Oh, that's not what I thought it was going to be.
After 4 days, you don't lose instantly.
You start
After
starving.
4 days, starvation goes in. Dehydration, which as we saw from our promo, is a very dangerous thing. So you have 4 days of food and fresh water. You can use a survival check to do what's an activity called subsist in Pathfinder. You are going to go and make your survival check on the island. You can also send crews out to smaller islands if you want to send them. The thing is, each of these islands are prepped with dungeons and monsters and things like that. Some of them are very easy and quick. Some of them are multi-episode mega dungeons. So you don't know what you're sending your crew to. They may not come back alive if you send them. You yourself
feed.
can go and gather supplies.
Let's send these 3 guys with red shirts on.
So each island has a
Time for
rating,
that
a rating for danger, for supplies, and for treasure. And I will tell you what that is if you scout the island. You can make your survival check to get back supplies to keep you alive for a little bit longer, and find supplies to repair the Windfall. On a crit fail, the elements are too much, and you lose a day of supplies instead of gaining any. On a fail, nothing happens. You just scavenge enough to keep that. You basically just lose a day of actual time. On a success, you gather supplies equal to the resource value of the island, and basically that island's burnt out. You can't come back. On a crit success, it's like the success, but you get to add a D4 additional days of supplies.
Nice. I have a question.
Yes.
You said we don't have to worry about our own personal food. I have a week's worth of rations. Can I dedicate that to the crew?
You can dedicate it to the crew. A week's worth of rations. It would have to be a month's worth of rations to make a dent.
Okay. Do we all have a week's worth of rations from our starter kits?
I have 2.
Now you might want to save those because if you are trapped on
Yeah.
an island, it
Yeah.
will become
That's
sort
for
of like a
me, bro.
survival.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Mine is entirely just granola bars.
I do
It's
have
entirely
I do have a
mine
related
was,
question though.
Tack of various hardness.
Yeah.
For
Here, let me take out my tack. He's got like a little
Attack
Tackle
buffet.
box.
Yeah, it's
Tackle
like
box.
this. Yeah.
Tackle.
Take your hero point, please.
I was debating because there's the spell to create water to create food. I was gonna pick that up and I was like, nah. If I did get that, what would that do in terms of
How much does it create in Pathfinder?
let me see.
To eat.
For water, It is.
Water's important.
Water seems important.
Water's more important than food, yes.
Get purified food
Oh.
and drink.
2 gallons.
2 gallons.
2 gallons?
I'm
That's
thinking,
not
I
a
think
whole lot.
It's enough for your party. That's enough for your party, but like 2 gallons of water is not going to cut it for
I mean-
a crew of 30 people.
They can. Not.
You could choose individuals aboard because 1 gallon of water a day for each individual on board. So you would have to choose an individual to keep alive for that day. Like, okay, I give the captain water. I give.
We need to.
Oh hell no.
We need to sort of boiling seawater. Or do you hook her up with a
A
System for
desalination
that.
system.
Yeah.
All right. So, Cass, have y'all had a chance to scout anything before you picked us up?
Scout, we just started sailing hours ago.
Okay.
We made it around the crest of this island. We crashed on the west side.
Okay. And let's see. You think we could get to this island? I point at H8.
H8. Let me pull up my little mappy map here.
2 days, day and a half.
H8. H8 is going to take you 2 days of sailing from where you are. You'll have to use 2 days of supplies.
Okay.
So, let me introduce one more thing. I'm a big fan of random tables. So, each time you set sail for a new voyage, you are going to roll for a sailing event. Sometimes it's nothing like, oh, there's fair winds today or something like that. Sometimes it'll be an event. Sometimes it'll just be a role-playing thing. Sometimes it'll be a monster attack. You don't know. But before you get to the island, there are events that'll happen when you set sail. You have to roll a D100. You cannot repeat the same result. So let's say that you roll a 30, and the next time it has to be someone else. They roll a 30. You can just ignore that, or you can push your luck. If you push your luck, you gain 2 hero points, and then you roll again on the sailing encounters table.
So,
Interesting.
do you think one of our dinghies could make it to this island? Or do you think we would need the Windfall? If I wanted to take like an away crew.
The dinghies. Do you see? And she points at the.
I don't even know if we have dinghies that are operational. They were using soft tack as boats. So
There's one single rowboat. The only time that the dinghies would be advisable, and again, I'm a navigator, not a sailing
yeah, I
master.
understand. I'm including Mr. Darrow in this conversation,
Mhm.
so he might weigh
he's
in on
there
some
and
of
he's
this.
just like nodding astutely. You see these little islets that are right next to the larger islands?
Mm.
Those would you be able to take the dinghy out and explore them. Anything in that light blue water, but anything that's a large island or a new island, you'd have to set sail on the Windfall itself.
That one rowboat that we have, is that the same boat that Darren tried to take?
No.
That one got smashed.
It got smashed?
No, it's
Because
operational on the beach.
Oh, could be right.
Yeah.
You want to sail around and go get it? Sure.
All right, I'm gonna get the other 7 or some of the other competent people together and have a conversation, and we're gonna come back with a plan. Mr. Darrow, for now, just leave us anchored here because there's still at least like 78% of the natural resources on this island. So I'm hoping that we might need to get something off this.
You see the
before we move
percentage just like
on.
going down the corner of the screen.
I'd say about 50%, but aye, sir.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
They're
We'll
adamant
let
about
the
that
bean
number.
counters.
Would you like me to dispatch a crew to collect the resources?
Yeah. So here's the thing. The where we met Darren is on the other side of the island.
You're on the top of the crescent now.
Yeah. Why don't you send a small group? Nothing that's going to take. Don't send any people that are trying to fix the leaks. Don't send the bosun. Send like maybe one of the powder monkeys with a gun, and send like I'm going to say 3 people. There is a dinghy on the south beach that Darren, he'd stole a bunch of stuff from us. It's got a lot of the crew's personal effects. I think if you get that back, it'll boost morale. And there might be some resources in the area. There's a freshwater spring not far. Maybe they can fill a couple of barrels. It's not going to like hold us for long, but they could hopefully get back, if not by nightfall, first thing in the morning.
He nods. Aye, sir. And he'll go get that done. Alright, let's smash cut over to Kai, because I've heard from him in a little bit.
So on cutting to Kai, he's literally they're down in the hold where the cannons and the cannons are and the powder.
Cannon.
The cannon is and the powder should be. think there's a little bit left, but they don't actually have anything to do here. There's systems in place. The stuff is there. So Kai is literally laying down on the sub deck next to the cannon. Quartermaster asked me, and he's just kind of talking to Flintlock and Rosamond. Quartermaster asked me to make sure things are in line down here. I wish I could be in there with them, looking at the map. And he kind of like he pulls the waterproof case off of his back, where he keeps a copy of the code, and opens it up and pulls out a slip of paper, and he's just kind of looking at it, and it's sort of a rudimentary map that he's clearly drawn himself.
Okay, I like that. So, Rosamond looks at you. Her eyes kind of sort of like a little wild. She's always been a little fascinated with the code. She says, "If it's not too forward, Master Gunner, why aren't you in there? I mean, I've been on ship's decks most of my life, and no offense to the navigator, I think she's doing a fine job, but no one grew up in these islands. No one's sailed near Tarva besides you."
Kai kind of looks at her, and there's a half stern, half confused look on his face. I told you, didn't I? Quartermaster said.
The Quartermaster, he's... the way that he is.
Look here. When you're on a ship, personal feelings don't matter as much. He's where he is for a reason. You respect me, you respect the code. You respect the code, you respect his rank.
Aye, sir. I'm sorry I spoke out of line. If you said you wanted to make sure everything's in order, maybe we can just make sure things are at least a tip top. If a kraken came out of the water right now,
Don't say
God, I'd say 1% chance of that happening at most. But if we
Let me
set
roll.
sail and
I got it.
That always happens.
and the kraken were to come out, I'd like to make sure at least this one cannon's working, sir.
Well, I respect the initiative. We should give it a shot, but I'll tell you now. If a kraken comes out of the water, we're gonna stuff all of the black powder into this cannon. We're gonna fire it, and we're gonna sail like hell that way.
Aye, sir. Have you ever seen a crake, sir? A real one?
I like to think I did, but mostly I heard stories. A lot of stories. Oh. Let me tell you, I knew someone when I was young. And she would tell me all about the things she'd done, the things she'd seen. Three krakens she's seen. And hearing about all those adventures, it made me want to come out here and see those things too. So a small part of me, a tiny part of me, maybe when the ship is in a little bit ship shape, maybe we'll see a kraken one day too.
Rosamond, she smiles, and Flintlock, he's got this dumb grin, and he kind of salutes with his hand that's missing the finger. He says, "We might be humble powder monkeys, but if we can see the thing done, we'll do it for you, Master Gunner. We'll make the Windfall something worthy of the code."
I'm glad to hear that. You'll make me real uncomfortable when I'm basically one of y'all, so just and he kind of reaches over and kind of grabs Rosamond around the edge of her neck and shakes like this. Just one of y'all.
Just one of you.
His hand is like bigger than her shoulder.
Yeah.
So he clearly could just
There are a lot of the small race aboard the ship. We got
We have little people.
a whole bunch of little.
It's diverse.
They have to have a life raft just for Guy.
We actually have a lot of representation on this ship.
Yeah. wonderful diversity of tabletop role-playing games, races. Love it. Wesley, we've not heard from you. What have you been getting into? I know you were
I'm
helping
trying
Brody.
to help in the kitchen.
Okay. How's that going?
I think Wesley is quick to pick up on instructions.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
From what she's gathered, so
But,
I would imagine
She's
it's
telling me
going
what to
well.
do, but once it's done, he doesn't wait for instructions and kind of assumes he knows what the next thing to do is, whether he's right or not.
I would say a couple of times you've been like gently corrected by her hair as she's like fiddling with something else. It like reaches over and just kind of no.
The hair slap.
This over here. But yeah, she's been getting his help, like going through all the inventory while Riley's out of the kitchen and hopefully putting things in some semblance of order.
Absolutely. And you do end up getting it back in ship shape, if you will, along with Wesley's help. Everything at least has a natural order. You've lost most of your good supplies. It's like you're starting from scratch again. You had made this into like a little home, your own little kitchen where everything was within hair's reach for you. It's a little disheartening to have to rebuild, but the thought of being able to build something that's yours again, there's that glimmer of hope. So.
I mean, it's definitely not something she's unfamiliar with. I would be lying if she wasn't a little disappointed seeing the way things were and the response to her being back on the ship. But as, working with Wesley and getting things sorted, like that she's perked up a little, the chipperness is back, she's kind of back into the swing of things.
And as you guys are like back in the swing of things, you hear some more heavy footsteps and you think, oh, the captain's coming. But the captain always moves with this crazed, almost like madman energy where he's scuffling. These are precise, like Mr. Darrow's footsteps. And down the stairs you see the first mate. He has a commanding presence. He appears to be an elf. He wears a sort of like very deep cut corsair shirt with the sleeves just lobbed off. He is very built with this golden, sort of almost like amber tawny skin, maybe from the sun or maybe from his elven heritage, and emblazoned sort of like inside of his skin, you can see these glowing runes that make it almost translucent, like there are chunks of him that are just glowing pure energy, and he makes no attempt to hide these. His eyes are the same. They crackle a little bit with this light energy. It's like a very anime-esque aspect, but he doesn't like bring attention to it. It doesn't like crackle or overwhelm. It sort of just hums with life whenever he comes down. This is the Smith, the first mate. He looks at you and he nods, his long hair tied back into like a very sailor's knot at the top, sort of like shaved sides of the head to keep hair out of him while he's working. And he turns. I wanted to come down and thank you. You've only been back for a matter of minutes and already the Windfall is running better. I know the captain does not always give you the recognition you deserve. I just thought you should know. I think you're doing a good job. I'm a fan of order. And you've brought that here.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you.
I am curious, what's on the menu for tonight?
We actually found some crab while we were on the island, and, well, I figured it's best to use it while it's still good.
He smiled. The crew will love that. Thank you both so much for your efforts. I'll go check on the bottom deck. And he just nods at both of you, and he heads straight down to the bottom deck.
She just starts tapping Wesley. Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Wesley it's kind of like perspective, he's like, yeah, it's nice to be recognized. And he kind of absentmindedly goes back to work.
My sweet baby.
With like wide eyes, like Ernie kind of walks around the door into the kitchen, like looking down where the first mate has continued to walk, and kind of like, and like comes and sits at a table in the kitchen and picks up a stool that's still on its side and climbs up on there and takes a cup and rolls out the map and puts it like a cup on one corner and a candle on another to kind of weigh it down. I'm glad y'all are here. I'm gonna see if I can find Brooks and Kai. I kind of need some help making a plan. I was hoping we could all have a chat.
Yes, Wesley and I took stock of everything, and it's, at least from the food and water side of things, it's not the best.
How many days?
4.
Oh, that's maybe more days than the ship would stay afloat at this point, but it's still not a lot.
And honestly, I'm used to working with fewer supplies, so I might be able to stretch things a bit.
I told Mr. Darrow to send some people to where Darrence had that boat and all the crabs nearby. They may come back with a little bit, but I wouldn't count on a lot. I told them to be faster.
Did you warn them about the crabs?
Yeah, you did warn them.
Yeah.
And the other thing that did the
I told them to,
slurping.
I told them to take a gun. They should be fine.
Smash cut. It only shoots once! It only shoots once! And there's like 100 crabs just... it's a flintlock.
When we find Brooks and Kai, we can talk about what we need to do next. But yeah, I think getting more supplies is kind of high on the list.
So, as you begin to make your plans, as you assess the needs of the Windfall and gather yourselves to build her back up into the sanctuary that you once knew, we're going to go ahead and take our break for the day. We're going to take about 10-15 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and put the recap video back on for anyone that missed it, and we're going to go take a break real quick, and we'll be right back, so y'all hang around.
Nice.
All right, we'll be right back.
Bye.
Don't leave.
And we're back.
Hi,
Hi,
welcome
chat.
back.
Hello, welcome back. Thank y'all for sticking around and letting us use the restroom in peace. It's a much needed little break. All right, so let me just get this going a little bit more. I'm going to turn the audio down quite a little bit because it's going to be loud. Lovely. So, the day passes. The sleeping sea, as violent as it was to you a day ago, is now picturesque in its beauty. The gorgeous ambers of the sky lit by purple scattered across it as the sun begins to set. You can see birds flying in the distance, making their way to those dark silhouetted islands that hold some fortune, salvation for you. The fire turns now to embers, just actually like city lights lighting up the top of Idle Bay, the monument to Ernie's ingeniousness.
Great.
I don't apologize for catching the ship's attention.
No. The crew returns, Mr. Darrow's crew. Some looking like they had just gone through a epic melee. They're scarred and battled and bruised.
Pinched.
One guy comes up. We lost the gun, and he throws a bag in front of you, and like he pulls a crab off of his ear, and he throws the crab on top of the bag, and then he just turns on his heel and leaves.
I open the bag.
It's full of crabs.
Oh, dinner.
There
Excellent.
is a whole wealth
crab
of
boil tonight, boys.
freshly caught, still wiggling around crabs in there. You gathered from the rest of the provisions, and they bring some from barrels on board. You have now acquired a new asset. The other
Some sass. I got some sass.
You got some sass. The sass is a wonderful asset to have.
Unlocked.
You acquired a new rowboat, so you have 2 now. 2 rowboats. You have the personal belongings, which will raise the morale of the crew. Very well done. And you've gathered from the survival check that I rolled a secret check based on your orders 2 more days of supplies.
So it brings us to 6.
You have up to 6 days of supplies. You will mark those off at the start of each day. Like at dawn, you mark off the supplies, and like that's when you've run out.
So we have 5 left since this is a new dawn.
Well, no, it's not. It's sunsetting, so you'll mark it off tomorrow. Idle Bay is now out of resources. You would have to go on the island yourselves and do sustain checks to find any more. You cannot send a crew in because they will not be able to scour any more resources for you.
Cordelia, do you think it's too late to get some of this crab ready for people to eat tonight? Or does it need to be a tomorrow thing?
Well, I mean, we made some progress with what we were working on. We can always throw them in a barrel and save them for tomorrow.
There's plenty of water under deck. You just let them swim around.
Yeah.
From below decks, Brooks bristles.
Why don't we get our little... Why don't we get the let's get the 5 of us that were on an Idle Bay together and try to figure out what we're going to do.
I would like to remind the 5 of you that we're on Idle Bay together that when we come back from break, everyone does have an additional hero point, except for Juice King, who will not stop using the laser pointer to distract me.
I can't stop.
If you can't stop, I'm going to take it away.
I'll pay the daily hero point.
There's literally a hero point payment to distract me with a laser pointer.
I'm just using the laser pointer. You're the one getting distracted.
This pact is sealed.
All right, everybody. We have here personal effects that were thieved by Darren when he was a member of the crew. As part of crashing on the island, he was dispatched by the crabs, and I pointed at the guy that dropped the bag at me. And then those crabs were valiantly defeated by this guy.
Yeah, it's me. What's my name?
Guy.
Rosamond.
I'll be below decks.
Oh.
Let's just say, if there was a morale-raising event, this might have hindered it just a little bit.
And so go ahead and grab what was taken from you. And
It's Terry, by the way.
Write that down, write that down.
Bye, Terry.
We won't see him again.
No. I'll keep sending him on missions. One of them will get him eventually. All right. I head down to the kitchen.
Operation Kill Terry.
The M word coming soon.
All right. I spread out the map. We gotta get some more supplies. We gotta keep moving. I think we can limp, according to Cass, we can limp to a couple of these. The one here, I point at H8, or here, I point at I8. Seem to be the closest to me. Any
I'm gonna
thoughts?
see if I can add a source real quick without absolutely destroying OBS. So y'all keep talking, but I'm gonna see if I can add the
Hey,
map.
chat. Look at us. Don't look at him. Don't look at
Don't
him.
look at me.
Look at us.
These 2 islands are in the same block? Does that mean that
I think I can do it.
these islands look
Relatively
close together?
I think we should head to one of them, and then we can check out the other one. And,
Oh, I think I made it very large. Hey,
kill 2 Terrys with one.
there we go.
Who?
It's a very odd saying.
So I'm just gonna block you guys for real quick.
Yeah. Cover my
And
face.
this is the map that they're looking at right now.
Oh, perfect.
So I'm sorry it's so obtrusive. We'll make it. I'll hide it in just a second. But this is the map of the Sleeping Sea. I wonder, it's going to be too small to look at, but I can put it over the battle cam right here. Right there.
At this point, with the food done, Cordelia's taken off her cardigan and she's kind of stretching and scratching a little uncomfortably, and you guys can see as Imrys is starting to grow out of her skin and separate.
Ew.
It's amazing. So you see the 8-foot wingspan of this. Well, he's a little bit smaller, right?
I mean, that was
familiar?
the small side, but yeah.
I mean, he is still a vulture.
Yeah,
he's still
he's
this
still
huge bird prey.
big.
So like the angel of death, like out of your neck and around your back, you see,
That is
and then he emerges
a
out,
lot.
and then his like raw vulture like head and his piercing
He's
eyes.
a bearded vulture, so he's got the like.
Oh yeah,
floof.
he's got
all
the
the
fluffies,
floofy
but he has the
feathers.
they still have like the skin face like on the face, right?
Nope,
The skin face.
it's all feathered.
I must Google bearded vulture.
Play along at home, cat.
I offer Immerse a crab leg.
Oh my gosh,
He's a floofy boy.
he's very floofy. His very feathery face just comes in right next to you, and then just nuzzles once before he stretches and kind of takes a little bit of flight.
Yeah, he's got a stand that's in the kitchen.
You too can play at home.
Is it
You
like a
Google
platter?
bearded vulture. They have feathers on their face.
Kai, how are things looking below? And Brooks, how are things looking even below that?
It's a lot of damage. We can probably make it that far. At least.
Okay. Kai?
Backup supply of powder is not powder anymore.
Brooks coughs and like
Well, I
So we have the barrel we were using, and we have what's in the cannon.
Okay.
That's it.
I got the crew focused on me right now, so I don't think they've really realized how bad things are. But I think that we're gonna need to find something. Crab meat tomorrow. It's gonna be a lot better. That's gonna help out things. But does anyone know if Mr. Darrow caught some rack time during the day today?
I honestly haven't been on.
I
deck
kind of
the
want to
ship
get
since we got
underway
back.
right now and to have everybody wake up on open sea. That way we can just kind of be moving, get some food in their belly, put this all behind us. No more talk about whose fault this is, and see if we can't. There's a lot of anti-captain sentiment going on.
What's wrong with the captain?
Well, there's a lot wrong with the captain, but we can't talk about it as a crew all at once. Or things.
No.
about Captain.
But Dora's shaking the Disney lawyers there. Here. I was literally, my eyes were darting around to each of you, just waiting.
Don't do it.
And Mitchell started. I was like, no.
I haven't even seen that movie yet.
So I think that's probably the best play. Now, does anyone have a preference on what island we go to?
And Kai's been kind of like just looming over the map as you're talking here. And he points down to the islands at H and I-8. This one, the eastern one here, this should have fruit. We need some citrus. And I think, given their central location around here, a lot of ships probably pass by. It's probably common. We might find some extra supplies washed up. Hopefully some powder.
Okay. That's as good as reason as any as far as I'm concerned.
And if that's the case, we can salvage some ship parts that they don't need anymore. That could help repairs.
Okay. I like that plan. I'm gonna go see if I can't rouse Mr. Darrow or the backup helmsman. What's his name again? I think it starts with a T. I'm gonna go find him and see if we can't get moving.
So the plan is to find Mr. Darrow, and you're going to set sail tonight.
Yeah, like not
Surprise crew.
not. I mean, if he can do it safely, like I presumably it's open sea and we can just kind of get moving.
It is open sea, yes.
With a light crew, because sailing at nighttime is what you always do. You don't park it
Right.
on the ocean. So, yeah, just kind of get underway so that everyone wakes up in open sea with a nice crab meat breakfast.
A crab meat breakfast.
It's
Crab
like
boil.
We got
leaving,
eggs,
it's
we
like
can make some
leaving for
omelets.
Disney World
Yeah.
at night and having your
Dude,
kids sleep
crab
that way with
That is, I am literally treating our crew like kids in the car asleep as we head to Disney.
And they wake up and we're almost there already.
So,
Wow.
just for the sake of brevity to move things along, you are going to set sail. This is our first ever voyage. So I need someone, and it will change each time, to roll a D100 for the sailing event. As you sail to which island?
H8.
H8.
Did you say the eastern one?
I thought you said I8.
He said
H8 and I8. We'll go to H8
He said
first
the
because it's
eastern
closer.
one.
Yeah.
The, the ones that are high up. You're going to
Yeah.
the left one first. The more
The left one.
The closer one.
H8.
Okay.
Who wants to roll first?
The
I'll
eastern
do it.
one. I'm sorry. The eastern island. The ones that shaped like a bean.
No, we're doing the western.
The western one's closer, so we're doing the western first.
Okay. The
I'm
western
rolling a
one first.
D100.
That's going to cost you 2 days of supplies at the end of your journey, and
take
you
a-
will have to roll one.
3.
Brooks is rolling it.
Hiya.
The
I got
island
an
of
86.
H8. The island of hate. You said 86.
Hope high
This
is
guy
good.
gets 86.
All right. So I'm going to pull up my D100 chart right here.
Oh, that's the fuck
86
number.
Brooks.
I'm going to strike that one out.
So is it struck out for like forever?
It's struck out forever. You can never roll 86 again. Actually, it's 84 to 87 was the band. You can never roll 84 to 87 again. I'm going to highlight it to show that we've rolled it. But if you ever roll a 84 to 87 again, you will have to re-roll if you want to press your luck, or you can just say
Or it's like smooth
no
sailing.
event.
size.
It's basically you just no event. Longer voyages will
You have
will
more.
take multiple events, or if you're in the open ocean for too long, I'll have you roll randomly. Like it's not always just one per voyage. It depends on the length of the journey.
Makes sense.
A standard 2 or 3 day sailing, you're gonna have one event. So the first day passes by fairly. You all mentioned you had some crafting and downtime things to take care of. If anyone would like to roleplay those scenes, I can pop them out now. Otherwise, we'll just say I know what you have and what we've worked on.
Very quickly, the first night after he rouses Mr. Darrow, Ernie goes up. He has a small, it's almost like a storage closet on the top deck that at one point he emptied a bunch of buckets out of and kind of made his place. And he runs it kind of like a little space. He sometimes sells decks of cards to the crew, stuff like that, puts it all in a pot, kind of keeps morale up. But one night he goes, or the night that they set sail, he goes to it and kind of goes into this back part. And anyone watching, he from the outside, there's not a lot of motion. He comes out with a small little cage, and you hear him kind of talking to it a little bit, and he reaches into his breast pocket and tears 3 pages out of a leather journal, and then you see a bird take off as he lets one out of the cage. And then he kind of goes back and puts it back inside his room.
Okay.
He then spends some time crafting, and you hear a clanging noise from within. To be continued on that.
Anyone else?
Seeing the mutilated fish at Riley's attempts, Cordelia is going to go ahead and start kind of cleaning up the ones that remain, and referring back to her notes that, hold on, I got his name, that Leroy gave her about the slinkfish stew. And she's going to start kind of fiddling with it as she's sort of studying like the anatomy of the fish, and taking it apart and start trying to put together water breathing potions. Like start trying to figure out how to put 2 and 2 together so that she can brew that for the crew next time.
Absolutely. Lovely.
when Brooks is done hammering shit for the day, he goes to the crew quarters and sets down his pack and starts kind of like rummaging through sort of like the wreckage that is now this room. That's always been this room. And he is looking for the rest of his stuff because it's not all in his pack, and he grabs a couple potions of water breathing that he had that would have been really useful before, and then sets them in his pack, and then he like winces and then thinks out, oh no!
It happened again!
That'll be like the crabs are back.
The crabs!
The crabs are
One day I'll remember to put this on repeat.
He like kind of grimaces and like reaches in his like lapel, his shirt, and grabs the fork out, like poked him when he leaned over, and looks at it, and it's just like, should I use it to go for seconds? And then he says seconds, and then you at home see on the fork itself, like a little rune starts to etch itself. It's like a spiral that has a zigzag sort of look to it. Mechanically, I'm affixing a striking rune to my weapon, which gives it an extra damage die. So instead of doing 1d8 of damage, now it does 2d8 of damage when I hit.
Dinner time.
No, I'm not gonna say it.
You must.
But he kind of looks at it confused, and then I need little like rubber tips for
I
it,
can
but
get
whatever.
you a fork.
No, I'm.
Like a prop.
Are you gonna give me the trident too for what I say is dinner time?
Maybe for your birthday.
And then he
You just
puts it
hold really
away.
close to the camera.
Yeah. Ooh.
It's dinner time. Whoa! Movie magic.
Put on your 3D glasses now.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Kai.
So, it's a dark night. Kai has headed to bed a little early. It's a tiring day, right? And he stirs, and in his dreams, he sits on the seafloor. And as he's trying to gasp, the bubbles are coming out of his mouth, but they're large, enormous bubbles you wouldn't expect. Floating by, and one of them can see what looks like islands, perhaps the ones that we're going to be visiting soon, and another. You can see his Giselle, a new rune carved into the side of the stock, and what looks strange, there's a new cartridge affixed to the back, and you can see arguments taking place amongst the crew. And he wakes up suddenly. Stands up and walks to go find Ernie's hideaway. And
Ernie, as you're clattering, the unmistakable. There's only two people with heavy footsteps on the ship: the captain and Kai.
I know the captain ain't up this late. What you doing, Kai?
I had a weird dream. I know how to keep.
You look, and he's holding this large, just metal leg, and he puts it down on the table. Yeah.
I know how to clean this thing, but he's armed. He has his weapon in hand. I know how to clean this thing, but I had an idea. I could use your help.
Okay. What you got?
And as he kind of pulls back the hammer and opens up the barrel, I was thinking that I could fit something here that might allow me to use a new type of cartridge. And he goes on to explain the idea of mimicking the lightning charge shots that you've seen him send before, but he wants to do it as a part of the gun rather than through his own power.
I don't have a mind for this as much as some people, but I have seen it done before. I can maybe help out some. Yeah, let me see what I got. And he starts rummaging around, and just like what to anyone else looks like a pile of just everything in just different piles. and comes out with like some clamps and some magnifying glass and something to get in close, and starts trying to see where things can be expanded to make room, and starts talking about what could potentially even go in that sort of place. And he keeps pulling stuff out of his pocket and like, no, that's not going to work, and starts taking a closer look.
And as you're doing that, and you look back at him too, you see that he's drawn like in just with a brush and some ink, he has drawn what looks like a rudimentary compass rose on the stock of the gun.
Let's see. Ernie just kind of like reaches into like a pouch of stuff out of his pocket and pulls out like just a small strip of paper. And is like, I think this is the top part of like a rune for lightning. And like, I feel like, I don't know, it just kind of makes sense, doesn't it? If you look at it. Can you imagine what the rest looks like?
Yeah.
Just the general idea? Okay. Maybe we can make something like that.
Okay. And they spend some time working in the night and are essentially able to attach kind of a custom cartridge thing that'll allow Kai to affix scrolls to the weapon.
Affix scrolls to your Giselle. I love this game. I love this game.
Okay.
The first night passes. You can mark off your first food. Either the quartermaster or the cook, whoever wants to be in charge of supplies.
I think for food it should be Cordelia.
Okay,
I can keep track of it.
absolutely. So you're down to 5 days. And then on the night of the first night, not the first night you sailed through, which is fine. The second day you sailed through, fine. That second night, you're within a few hours of the island. Like you're gonna reach there at the end of the night and the dawn of the next day. Mist rolls in. A chilling cold mist. Wesley and Brooks, you are on the lookout. You're looking out and you can see the island in the distance, even though it's extremely dark. It's not really cold in the Sleeping Sea. It's actually close to like a tropical area. It's not quite there, but it's getting close. The closer you get to Tarva, the closer it gets to sort of tropical weather and climate. And you hear this immense surge of water.
It's the Kraken. Oh no.
It sounds like, it sounds like you're like, Kraken, whirlpool, tidal wave, but you don't see anything in this dense, thick fog that's like cutting through until you see behind you, almost like fairy lights, like will-o'-the-wisps. You see green and blue, blinking, intermittent behind you. And on the air, you hear it. It's harrowing, but it's familiar. What do you do with a drunken sailor?
Is this a ghost ship?
What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor early in the morn?
Is that copyrighted?
It is. No. I assure you, Drunken Sailor is not. And as the fog sort of clears next to you, both of you please roll perception for me.
Oh, could be a Kraken. 16?
24.
You can see the ship. On the side of it is plastered in the name along the hull, Liberte, Liberte. It is a smaller ship than you, just a sloop, but enough for a looks like a 10-man crew or so. It is made of this old, decrepit wood, and hanging on it are these lanterns, which in the fog are casting green and blue lights. You can pierce through the fog, and you see on the crew skeletons. You see them wearing these tattered rag cloth clothing, all doing sailor's task, manning the hoist, moving the sails, one at the helm, and in unison they sing beautifully. They show no sign of aggression towards you, but they do pull up in tandem next to your ship and match your pace.
Kind of smack Brooks on the arm. Is like, you know when Ernie was referencing a skeleton crew earlier? How literal?
The song continues.
Because they've got one.
He'll look harder. I was thinking, oh, a race they won, eh?
No. And you see skeletons just scrubbing the deck and singing, "Ora and up she rises, ora and up she
Should we,
rises."
Should we tell someone?
I don't know. Should we hail them? Should we? No. I guess he's the highest ranking other than the captain. I'll go and wake Ernie sleeping in his shed.
Yeah. What?
I have my fork. I'm like,
We got a ghost ship on our hands?
And as he says the word ghost ship, you hear, "Shave his belly with a rusty razor, shave his
Like,
belly with a
Undead
rusty
crew,
razor."
Liberté.
Oh, not a metaphor. Oh, okay. What?
okay,
he
wait.
gets up and walks out onto the deck.
As you
I
go,
pull out my
and-
spyglass.
yeah, you pull out your spyglass. It's not needed as they are literally in tandem with your ship. I mean, you could hop from your ship to theirs. And as the helmsman, Mr. Darrow, is like, orders, he is like just like
Keep it steady for now.
he's keeping it steady, and the other helmsman is just matching as you hear it's singing. Put him in bed with the captain's daughter. Put him in bed with the captain.
Does the ship appear corporeal?
The ship is absolutely corporeal.
I was gonna say we can't salvage anything from a ghost ship.
It
but-
is. It's physically
Wow.
there, and it's in pretty bad condition. You would only be able to use it to like reinforce, like whatever best you could. You couldn't scavenge the entire ship. In fact, you're sure some sort of phantom force is keeping it alive right now. The sails are in tatters. The crew are literal skeletons, but they have not attacked. They have not hailed you. They are literally just driving next to you. You can see them scrubbing the deck, moving around ropes, checking the wind, and you can see there's like lights flickering from inside the captain's quarters.
Does the ship name ring any bells?
You need to roll recall knowledge. Let's call it society.
Use this one this time.
Or if you have lore sailing.
Yeah, if you have some sailing lore, that'd be amazing.
What was the other thing you said? Society?
Yeah.
22.
22. The name is certainly a Soan, because there's no way that anywhere else in the world would spell the word liberty in the way that the Asoans do.
That's got a funny little accent on it.
It's got a funny little accent on the end there. Which is the country to the south of the southern continent of Gold Run, which you are currently several 100 miles north of. It's famous for pirates because they have such strict laws and court systems there. Pirates are famous for going around the Isles of Liberation, which are the southern islands there, and freeing up the indentured workers there and like joining them on crews and like rising up for liberty. So pirate crews are like sort of like the unsung heroes of that area. Liberté was a name of one of the ships for the Corsair King, the king of the pirates, also known as the Salt Crown. It would have been in his fleet of ships.
Do I know this Salt Crown to have been like an aggressive pirate to those that are not like enslaving the people of the Liberation Isles?
They do piratey things if you're like a rich merchant or something like that, but they are generally not attacking innocents. I'm not saying that they're all perfect Robin Hood heroes, but
At least a skeleton. So
yeah, these are skeletons.
they don't have brains anymore. Who knows what they think now?
Who knows what they do?
He'll turn to Ernie and say, "This ship, the Liberté, I think this was one of the Salt King's ships in his fleet. I don't know if they'll attack us
I look and make sure our pirate colors are flying. Do we have a flag flying?
You tell me. What's the flag look like?
I'm
the Windfall.
imagining it looks like a billboard for Melicado. It's just kind of his face, like.
Yeah,
Oh my
literally perfect. I love
It
it.
would be.
What's the attack? Rich merchants?
Oh no.
Yeah, it's not a great look.
I'm a merchant.
Are they on the port or starboard side?
This is important.
Port.
Is our cannon on the port or starboard
It's
side?
actually in my mental head. Whenever I was like imagining the second deck earlier, I was like, it's on the starboard. It's a starboard cannon.
Yeah, it's a shame they're not on our side with a cannon.
Shall I bring her around?
No.
Move the can.
We like slow down and then go around.
Should-
This song continues, just
Go
rising.
rouse a few more people. Quietly. I don't want to start anything, but I want to be ready if they do anything.
I can grab Kai and Cordelia.
Okay, yeah.
The only capable people I know of. Okay, I'll do that.
Could a boarding plank literally be set up between the two ships? They're so close.
Certainly.
Should we just walk over there and talk to the captain?
I could jump down there.
We all
That
know
seems
you-
aggressive.
Yeah. We all know you can jump over there, but we can also walk over there, Wesley. You're always jumping places.
So
Much more fun.
Kai does have sailing lore. I'm curious if there have been rumors of specifically this ghost ship in these parts.
You need to roll some sailing lore for me. I like that.
Let's see, 26.
26. The Sleeping Sea is generally seen as like this really easy thing to sail about. You guys are stuck in a really weird part of the Sleeping Sea. Ghost ships are definitely not unheard of, but in this area it is a little strange to hear about a ghost ship, especially an Asoan ship, which would be about an ocean apart from you.
Any chance that I've heard stories of the ghost ship Liberté?
Not of Liberté specifically. You have heard of ghost ships having some sort of tie to the pirates' code. Ghost ships serving beyond the purpose because the ocean called them to. Sometimes those ships could be boarded, and sometimes they have ill intent because they broke a code. They have to stay there and serve. Sometimes they're carrying on captain's orders beyond death. But oftentimes they can be reasoned and parlayed with. If you were to board such a ship, you would need to flag it down with the sailing flags properly, or risk alerting the spirits on board.
Okay, yeah. And so Kai essentially explains.
This feels real dumb, but I think we should go talk to them.
We need the supplies, and if
If they have powder, we need it.
as long as we keep to the code, hopefully they'll do the same. Those colors, those are law-fearing men. Well, our law.
Yeah. Okay.
Standing there on the deck of the ship now, seeing this, Cordelia's going to kind of rummage in her bag and pull out. It's kind of like a small little burlap kind of pouch, and she just kind of hands it over to Kai. She's giving you her root magic talisman. Last time we faced some ghosts, well, I think you might benefit from this.
And what is this?
So it wards against foul magics. It'll give you a +1 circumstance bonus the first time you attempt to make a saving throw against a spell or a haunt.
Interesting. Yeah, haunts are really cool.
So I pull out my signal whistle, and I blow the universal signal of parlay.
Which is?
It's the same.
Toot it.
It's slightly different than that one from earlier.
It's a non-copyrighted tune.
So almost immediately, you see one of the skeletons that was scrubbing the deck stop. His head clicks in your direction.
Oh wait.
He walks over, he takes out flags.
Who knows semaphore?
And Kai, what he signed to you, what do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? And he just signs that over and over and over. And then he tucks it back down and goes back to scrubbing the ship.
Do they ever answer it in that song? Actually, they have lots of answers.
I don't know. I only ever get the verse first stuck in my head.
Don't respond with the violent verse.
Feels like a good plan. Is there a verse where they're like, "Give the sailor all your powder, give the sailor all your powder and some of my food."
And then, like, in response, you hear, "Ooh, rain up she rises, ooh,
I think they liked the ship. So, we going down there, right?
Yeah.
Where she's like holding a rope.
I take the boarding plank and lay it between the two ships.
No response from the skeletons.
I hate being high rank, and I walk across.
As soon as you get across, one that's scrubbing the floor stands up. Welcome aboard the Liberté.
Hello, I'm the quartermaster of the Windfall.
We're scrubbing the ship. Captain's orders.
As you were.
What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor?
I start heading towards the captain's quarters.
As Kai boards the ship, loot and victuals to the Salt King.
They just sort of like nod, and then they continue the song, and they say, "Go see the captain if you like. Hasn't spoken in some time. Only one rule aboard the ship. No engaging with the prisoner." And then
God.
And then they keep scrubbing.
There's only one thing I want to do.
Yeah.
Ooh, Ryan, up she rises.
Yeah, I'll cross over as well.
Yeah, like right behind her, and you're just like,
What if we actually crossed over?
So, if you guys talk, like the skeletons, they respond and they just say, "Gotta work, captain's orders. Keep the deck clean." Or sometimes they'll ask you, "What do you do with a drunken sailor?"
Yeah, captain's orders.
As we're walking, Cordelia's just kind of humming the song. It's one of those things where it's like, it's stuck in my head.
It's
Might as well
freaking
accept
catchy.
it.
How dare it be so catchy?
As soon as all of you guys are aboard, it breaks off from the wind.
Oh my god.
I just turn
You
and
see
watch
Mr. Darrow immediately, like, he's keeping a very close watch on
I was
this.
about to say, I just watched the boarding, the like plank that we put across
Mhm.
fall off. Into the water.
She canonized it. It's gone.
Well,
Same team.
Well, we already turned.
We gotta spam some same teams now.
Mr. Darrow is amazing, but I don't know that he could have kept up with them.
whoa.
He's following behind, but they all are just singing.
It's okay, I have water.
Wait.
I didn't take that spell. Well,
All right. Let's see what happens. And I knock on the captain's door.
Okay. You hear? What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? Hold him in prison and torment him. Hold him in prison and torment him.
I don't know that verse.
I knew it is put him in the brig, and I can't remember the rest of the line.
Yeah.
what do we see?
I guess we'll find out early in the morning, but
he said the secret word of the day.
we're from the Windfall, fellow followers of the Pirates Code. We've come to parlay. with the Liberty.
Door opens up
Do
into
I
the
see
captain's
anything?
quarter. What was once a resplendent captain's quarter is now just a mottled gray mess. There is no captain. What you see is a charred black skull on a stand, like a hat rack essentially,
Don't like
just
that.
standing there. It has salt crystals where the inside the eye sockets like diamonds, and it has a ridge of like dents around its head, like right here. Like, you know when they like sometimes cut your head for like surgery, it looks like there's like dents right here, like burned indentions. There is a very fine hat hanging up on the left next to a wardrobe. There is some mottled and like decrepit maps out, and that's about all you see in this room besides like a bed and like some furniture and things of that nature.
Could I just cast Detect Magic real quick to
Okay.
see like what in this room is magical? I'm sure the whole thing is magical, but
No, the hat and the skull.
okay.
I kind of stand in the room with my back to the hat.
Okay.
Interesting choice of positioning there. You gonna thwavery it?
Hello, I'm the quartermaster of the Windfall. Are you the Salt King?
You don't hear, like, the skull doesn't talk, but there's like the lamps, like the blue and green lights just flicker for a second, and there's a voice in the air. Put him in the brig until he's sober. Put him in the brig until he's sober.
That's the end of the verse.
And then you hear offbeat, until he's sober, until he's sober, until he's sober.
Maybe they got someone in there, right?
Yeah, I'm starting to get the hint that there's a prisoner.
They said not to talk to him though.
He said not to engage him.
So as long as you don't marry him, it's fine.
That's correct.
The code, man.
I think we need to go down and at least see what's going on down there. What is there anything out on the desk at the captain's table or
There's a diary on top of the desk. Most of it is dilapidated and worn and completely like water damaged, but there are a couple entries that you can see.
I'd like to take a look at it.
stains. All right. It says, and then you can't tell the date because it's so smeared, and it says, "Cast off the salt crown in disgrace. I will hold penance for what my man has done, and he will hold penance for longer than I. Pass the crown to Raphael. He and Jacques were my best deckhands. May they find better use of it than I." That's about it.
There's a lot of penance in this part of the Sleeping Sea.
You rolled for it. There's also not supposed to be this much undead 2 episodes in a row, but here we are.
Yeah, I'm regretting my choice of itemization at the most recent level
Why
up.
didn't I roll cleric? You said this was a pirate campaign. Gotcha.
Well, shoot.
No, he does the shooting.
I'm looking at the skull. Did it appear to be magical, Brooks?
The skull is very magical, and so is that.
What hat?
He just
You
says
can
that.
try a medicine recall knowledge to see what's up with the skull.
I'm gonna try that.
Can I assist him with that?
Sure, you
Since
can
I'm a
have
little-
fortune.
I got a
Fortune?
with
Since
that
I'm
bonus
trained in medicine.
with a fortune. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Cordelia's kind of pointing out. She's like, "Look at this ridge here."
That's a 2.
It's a really creepy skull. Elongated, charred black, but perfectly charred black. Like, it couldn't have been like fire because it's just too even, but it's definitely like some sort of like charcoal. And the ridges right there have little crystals all around them, and there's huge salt in the eyes that look like diamonds.
This human has our own captain.
I was actually going to say, can I pull out the human skull that I did pick up on one of our islands and kind of compare it just to see?
When you pull the skull out, it shudders in your hand, and it begins to sing. What do you do?
Oh God, no!
What do you
Well,
do?
that's a new development.
Drunken sailor.
Ah, man, do you think our skeletons inside of our bodies are singing right now?
I mean, I've been humming it since we got on board.
Oh,
Oh no, it's happening.
oh, gross. Okay, let's go down below. I want to find out who's in the brig, because they're being tortured worse than this guy.
After everyone leaves, I take the hat.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take the hat.
So, you put the hat on.
I just kind of.
Okay, you just take the hat.
Like I kind of lean up against the wall and grab it
With
behind
your shoulder
my back.
blades?
Are you trying to sneak this?
Yes, I'm trying to sneak this.
All right, so that's thievery. You're gonna palm an object, I guess, or
Or
steal.
steal.
Yeah, let's go steal.
Ew, what is my thievery?
Check your thievery.
Plus 10.
Plus 10 to thievery?
Yeah, I'm trained.
He's sneaky.
23.
Yeah, I'm trained.
23. Is anyone's
trained.
perception DC beat
No.
23?
No.
Absolutely.
It's a
not.
big hat, and Wesley, you're just like,
I kind of just tie it around my.
yep.
back.
And as you walk out, all of the lights in the captain's quarters just blink out. It's completely dark in there now.
It's behind me. I don't know.
They're energy saving.
It's not I don't know.
This is the ship that's energy saving.
So, who starts to go below decks first?
I'll go.
As you're going, a skeletal hand, as he's scrubbing the deck, grabs your wrist, and his head cracks towards you.
My little skull's singing in my room.
Don't interfere with the jailer. Captain's orders.
Captain's orders.
It goes back to scrubbing the deck.
Take a look. Is it? How do you get down? Is it just like
It's just a quick little stair.
stairs?
Yeah. You hear heavy footsteps, wet, webbed feet, and you hear this sort of almost like clicking sound. Cordelia, I want you to roll a a fortitude saving throw as you walk down below deck. It's not serious.
Okay.
Unless you fail.
You say that.
It might be a little serious.
It's stinky.
18.
18. You are hit with the smell of booze. An overwhelming smell of liquor. Like someone that's been on a 3-week bender is like right next to you breathing it into your... Like you can taste it and like feel it in the air. Like the air is almost like sick with alcohol.
Yep.
It is like literally sickening to your stomach, but you take no ill effects from this.
It's like Ernest on a bender.
Yeah. As you head down, there is a room full of supplies. You can see crates marked food, salt. You can see a crate marked goods, a crate marked powder, barrels marked water, and other various unmarked items. There's a small little kitchenette, all the things you would expect in a ship. Behind the stairs is the brig. You see this singular jail cell. And on the back half of the ship, like all the cargo's been moved to the front half, the back half of the ship, you see bottle after bottle after bottle. Rum, liquor, beer bottle, just piled high, infinitely high, glass glistening in the back. And you smell it and you see stain on the floor, just running liquor. And you hear... And turning around the corner, you see this creature. It has this sort of like bulbous white flesh. Its mouth opens up into this 4-pronged jaw, like the predator. An enormous tongue comes out and flaps around and has teeth on each of the 4 open ridges. Its eyes are sunken and black and insect-like, but its pale white skin and its bulbous upper form resembles something like a nightmare human. And it makes eye contact with you, holding a long, sort of like trident spear. And it just keeps walking, jangling on
Yeah,
its...
she just kind of inclines her head at it. And just beelines towards the supplies and stuff.
It wears this like little metal, almost, this is what it looks like.
Spooky boy.
Gross.
Spooky boy. Jangling on its like, it wears like almost like this metal loincloth, and jangling on it are several keys. Inside the jail cell, you can see, thinner than Cordelia, absolutely sunken eyes, hair, and this wild beard. Hair just matted, rotted, gross, and curling. The skin just blackened from just the sores just all over. In a corner, chugging a bottle of rum, just like vomiting. And you hear him, "Oh, run up she rises, oh, run up she rises." And you hear a bottle smash against the wall. "Damn you!" And he like leans his head against the wall. And then you hear, and then the creature, and it takes a bottle of booze and it puts it in the cell.
Cordelia, what's it look like down there?
Well, shit's a little fucked.
Are there supplies?
There are, and I would recommend not interfering with the jailer or the prisoner.
Okay, let me help you grab that stuff.
Wait. Please. Have I gone mad? Are those voices? Please! Are there people?
We're not gonna talk to him.
Are there
We're gonna talk to
people?
each other.
Please! And you hear like clanging on the bars.
Who's talking down there?
Please!
Hello.
I know treasure! I hid vast treasure! A king's worth, please! Please! No man deserves this fate.
Oh, this one says food.
And fresh water.
You should help him. Treasure sounds nice.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel bad for the guy. I feel like we're on different pages here. Y'all just keep grabbing crates.
I'm gonna sneak down there.
Whoever's in there has nothing to do with us. Let's just get the supplies and go.
He's
And
asking
you
for help.
saw the skeletons on deck, right?
Yeah, well,
We're stuck on this thing.
they seem brittle.
Yeah, they've already died once.
And they're still here.
Okay, counterpoint to Brooks. But
And did you see that thing?
Not yet.
Look.
we're all like huddled in the stairwell.
Like some up top, some up bottom.
I just can hear him. He doesn't sound that big. He says 3 feet tall.
Hang on a second. Hang on.
Cordelia just looks at you.
He doesn't sound that big.
Oh God.
Remember Big Scary from the island we were just on?
Vaguely.
This one's worse.
Oh God. Okay.
He's bigger and scarier.
Who's the one that's talking?
Gods, please.
That one.
The prisoner we're not supposed to marry.
Okay.
My name is Frederic. I'm from so. Please.
He told me his name.
Yeah.
If I learn one more thing about him, I'm gonna have to save him.
I'm grabbing a
You already
crate
said where he's from.
and I'm coming back up.
Okay, almost like he's gonna pass me by. I'm gonna try and sneak a peek at the jailer.
The jailer's like turning the corner as you like poke your head down. He's like there.
Look, I don't mean to brag, but I don't need the jailer's keys to open the cell door.
I'm grabbing the crate marked powder.
If we grab the key.
Hello,
It
Verse.
would be
How you doing?
easier.
We're on a non-jailbreak right now.
We're on the
So
we're
far.
we're
It's a non-jailbreak.
So,
we're conflicted.
So you watch as Brooks, you're grabbing the crate. Are you trying to be stealthy about this?
The one rule of the ship. I know the code here. The one rule of the ship is do not engage with the.
So with
poacher.
confidence, you are grabbing the crate.
I am grabbing the crate.
You grab the crate, and the jailer does nothing.
Exactly. That's
He
what I
just-
fucking thought.
He just keeps walking around.
All right, maybe we can get the
Look,
crates.
since we're split 50-50, yet Kai hasn't said a word. How do you feel about prisoners?
Oh,
How about
God.
the code?
How do you feel about those contained against their will?
Captain's orders.
Constant suffering.
This is too much for me.
Gods, I do not know who's out there, but no sin is worth this suffering.
Because by the sounds of that journal, he's been sitting here until the crew turned to skeletons. Like,
Yeah, he's been here a while.
I beg thee, if you've any humanity, please.
But think
You
of the
got any of that?
humanity. A skeleton's gonna turn. A corpse is gonna turn to a skeleton within days.
We can. All right, so look, I pull out the mangled diary. I'm pretty sure the only reason these skeletons are still here is because he's still here. They're all tied together in their punishment.
It sounds like his punishment is to be in the brig till he's sober. Look at all the booze. He's never gonna be sober.
We could pour it out.
What does that have to do with us?
Okay, we can get the crates.
He said treasure. He knows where treasure is.
Okay, that's
He could be lying.
Oh, he's obviously could be lying. He seems pretty drunk.
Did he try to lie to me? My perception.
Oh no! Hang on.
My perception DC is 18.
Mine is
This man-
22 right now.
This man is desperate. He is crying out. Both of you, with your keen listening, it's not just a lie for desperation. He led with that. He knows treasure. He said a king's ransom or a king's amount of treasure.
He could be lying.
I stealthily walk down the stairs and get down into the actual room where Brooks is.
I'm grabbing the powder. I'm bringing it up.
Okay, you bring the
Stealth
crate of
bros, let's go.
powder to
Yes.
the top deck.
We
You
go
got
stealth.
it. It's up there.
Okay.
The jailer does nothing. The skeletons do nothing.
I will be going back and forth,
Yeah,
grabbing supplies.
I'm shifting one of the lighter food crates
I'm
and
sneaking
moving
with
it up.
Ernie.
Okay, you got it. You
Kai
guys are-
marches back up the stairs and back into the captain's quarters.
Okay.
Pay no attention to the lack
Um,
of
but
hat
the-
on the wall.
I think Kai went.
So
to
if you
to
don't
shoot
know
the
a whole
skull.
bunch about Pathfinder, it's okay. Just kind of enjoy the story, and we will actually kind of explain the mechanics as
Yeah.
they pop up. Just know it's like other tabletop role-playing games. You'll roll for damage, but the numbers are a little bit bigger, and there's more options that you can do than your traditional
Yeah, I think the biggest
Other
deviation
options.
is the 3-action economy. Which
3-action economy. Is
very
very
nice.
huge. We'll kind of explain things as we're going, but the story should be very easy to
I'm
follow.
sure we're gonna fight something very soon. So
At this rate,
if we get
Much
caught.
to your chagrin, yes.
I got this.
Me too. Distraction while steal the
that's
keys.
I
not
got
what
a
I want to
bucket.
hear.
So
got this.
I'm gonna pull the they're not in combat. I'm not making you roll
Pull out the
initiative.
I'm just gonna
I
pull
want
the
to pull this
battle
up for
cam real
chat because you guys are talking about sneaking and shit of that nature. Just real quick,
I don't want to be sneaky.
I know you want to be sneaky, but let me show you guys. Let me move my DM screen, and just in case you're aware of like how difficult it might be to sneak, battle cam activate. Oh, I did bad.
How
Battle
sorry.
cam. Hang on. Wait, where's the standby? Oh, there we go. All right, just in case you
that's a
in case you're wondering how hard it might be to sneak, this is how much space you're dealing with right now.
There's no
So
room, boys.
you guys are like right here. Cordelia,
Can I hide,
where's
like-
Cordelia? Hang on. We got skeletons on the top deck. You counted 6 skeletons on the top deck. Again, they're not hostile towards you. You just got skeletons.
think
on
of
the
their
top.
action economy.
All right, and then you've got Cordelia and Brooks. You guys are lifting up crates upstairs. So you guys are upstairs with the crates.
Crate and barrel.
Kind of hard to see. I'll just tell this cam. That's all the
No
skeletons. You guys are below deck. So you're talking about stealthing. You can come down the stairs. The jailer's coming around. You can roll stealth. But look at the space that you're in real quick.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, I was wondering if like
We changed our plan.
Okay. Now that you have an idea of what the map looks
All right,
like.
Wesley,
hide like between there.
you
or-
walk me up to him.
This
okay?
is the
You
wall.
walk
This
up?
is walls.
No, you walk me up to him.
How do I walk you?
Just deliver me to him.
I pick Ernie up.
And then
I-
the one called Frederic is in the jail cell.
I've got manacles on my wrists.
Okay.
I bring him before the jailer man.
I'm reporting to the jailer.
What's your deception DC?
I'm actually
All right,
manacled.
Yeah,
Okay.
He's manacled.
I will
right now.
I'll give him misfortune on this then. What's your deception DC?
Plus 8, so 18.
Or would we lie against his perception?
It's lie against his perception.
Yes.
Thank you, person that's better at the rules than me. Go ahead.
So
You
roll
roll versus
deception.
his
Perception
perception.
versus his.
Same
Do,
team.
do I get
maybe?
any bonus with my false manacles?
I will give you fortune on this roll.
So that's going to be 27
A 27.
as I walk up with my manacles on.
It sprints over. It sprints over to Ernie. It grabs you,
As soon
and
as
it.
Ernie is like let go and it turns, I want to try and grab the keys from its person.
Okay, it's
and
entire.
since I have pickpocket, I don't take the -5 penalty.
Okay. So you have a feat that gives you no -5. I will tell you this: its entire loincloth is made of jangling chains and keys. So you're just gonna try and take what?
We're gonna
One
make him
key?
naked.
Like, is it a key ring or?
No, there's. Imagine.
I guess just like a handful of keys if I can.
That
like,
wasn't a key.
You'll see his pants are made of. Wait, it's mooning the. You'll see his pants are made of metal. Yes. So the end of all that metal is one key. So he's got like a string bikini, and they're all made. There's keys at the end of each string. So you got like 8 or 9 keys dangling.
That is a summer look.
The summer guard unlocking.
I mean,
Choice.
He's working on his tan.
Oh, he's so pale.
I guess I'll just grab a random key.
Okay.
Or if I can grab more than one, I don't know.
That you can grab as many. How many you are attempting will affect the DC of this.
How close are they together?
You could just.
I mean, some of them are
wait
very
till
close. Some of them are literally
now. See
next
which
to
one
each
he
other.
uses to put me in there.
If 2 are
Oh, a bikini. I get it.
well, already
I hate
already
this
committed.
thing.
Yeah, you're right.
I guess 2 that are really close, I'll try and grab 2 at once.
Okay, go ahead and roll your thievery.
Nat 20 for a 30.
So, for those of you
Well.
that are new to Pathfinder, a nat 20 isn't just a crit in combat like other systems. You can have varying degrees of success, from critical success to failure. So you can roll a nat 20 and still fail, but the nat 20 brings your degree of success up 1. So he would have succeeded, but since he rolled a nat 20, he had a crit success.
Yeah, so it's
30
30 total.
A 30 total. You just slide your hand, you just pull off the key. You don't know if it's the right one, but you've got 2 of them, and they are just, you just roll them in your fingers, and you've got them. They're tucked away. He runs over to the cell.
Oh my god.
I kind of like disappear.
Roll stealth.
I'm gonna use a hero point.
Are there benefits to crit other than auto succeeding? You don't automatically succeed. It raises your success 1 notch, so it
Yeah.
can stop you from crit failing.
And a lot of spells and abilities have an extra effect that comes into effect if you
Yeah,
crit succeed.
all weapons have critical effects, like bows will pin
That's
you down.
the other nat 20 for.
Are you fucking
26.
kidding me? All right, let's get some crits.
And
in
if
chat.
it's plus, if it's 10 higher than
Mad
the DC,
lad.
it's
It also,
My God.
Yeah,
All
so
right, thank you,
26
Wesley.
with a nat 20.
And you
I try
just
to-
disappear?
I try to like hide into like the shadows, like.
Around the
Look,
corner.
I need to be in prison right away. It's captain's orders. I am a drunken sailor.
He starts begging you against the jail cell.
And when I disappear, I want to like make my way like towards
going-
the other side.
Okay.
I put down a crate and I turn to Cordelia and I say, I told him. I'm not getting him out of this one.
No, it's very fair. It's just I'm a little concerned because he's made himself a prisoner, and we're not supposed to engage.
Do we
with
hear the
prisoners.
banging of the cell? Bang.
It's free. It's when you said that to him about captain's orders, it starts freaking out.
When I get
And it's starting to bash you into the cell.
when I get towards the. Oh, sorry.
Well, hang on. Roll a fortitude save real quick, as he's gonna roll a flat check to see if your tiny body can squeeze in. through the
Are you
break.
trained in acrobatics?
I'm going to actually use one of my hero points.
Okay.
20.
A 20. You avoid any damage. It does hurt, but like you don't take points off of your HP because he rolled a nat 1 to force you in there. So it bangs you against the jail cell, and it's
Can you roll a flat check?
yeah. 7.
Never mind.
So as it's got you like bang, it takes you and it throws you into the bottle pile, and it runs over and grabs a full bottle of rum, and it hands it to you. And it takes out its spear and it holds it up to you. It puts the bottle in your hands,
The Edward 40 hand.
I drink some.
and then it starts going on its patrol again.
As long as you're drunk, it's fine. Technicality.
Trying to sneak.
It sees the guy who sees you, and his wild eyes are looking at you. Oh God!
I press the hidden release on my false manacles and take my hand out and just kind of wink at him.
And then you see the jailer looking towards him, and he just starts drinking.
Yeah, you should drink too.
Am I in the pile of booze bottles?
You are in the pile of booze bottles.
Okay.
You're gonna have to interject. The scene's moving,
I
so
wanna,
if you got
like,
something, you
I
got
wanted to try and like keep my way and like kind of skirt around to like keep my like parallel to him.
with your insane stealth.
And all
I want to say as long as you're keeping parallel.
and whenever he's like out of sight, I guess like
he'll
towards
turn
the
like
stairs,
towards here.
I
so
drop
you
the
guys
keys
can
into
see
the
him.
cell.
He slides the keys up. Thank you.
I finished this one.
And then I'm gonna
it starts sprinting back, and it grabs another bottle of rum and it shoves it into your hands. Wesley, you were saying?
I want to move one of the
You're, like,
crates
over
while
here.
it's moving to try and like block off one of its one of the paths. Just kind of like start like walking with one of the crates towards this way.
You're like trying to block the AI's path to like break the code.
well, no, like
It's a Stardew NPC.
I'm trying to delay him, like as if like he passes me and I'm holding the crate, like kinda
Like right around the corner here.
Yeah, like as I like pass him with a crate, kind of like jostle and like.
Okay, I'm not even sure
Get
what kind
in
of
his
roll this
way.
would be, but
Roll for jostle.
roll for jostle. What would I make this?
Roll for
I don't know,
inconvenience.
I feel like it's something like sneak.
Okay, I can roll stealth.
I feel like it's sneak.
A
yeah.
feint? Is it
Roll
a
stealth.
feint?
I'm not sure this falls into the actual determinations of sneak, but I do need to hear from everybody else in just a
That's a
second. 'Cause
hero
we've had a
point.
lot of action going on down here, and some stuff currently has to be happening.
Yeah.
Ooh, 16.
Another natural 20 for
16?
Yeah.
Okay, you shove some crates right here, and he is currently turning the corner right around here.
Diversion. All right.
Up top, you
Okay.
hear the screeching, all the sounds that I've made.
A lot of banging.
You hear, oh, oh, like the guy, and then like you hear, "Arr!" and you hear some banging around.
Brooks pokes his head down and sees Wesley, and he's like,
I'm sitting
gonna
on the
bring
barrel
that
as
crate
if I'm
up?
like
Yeah.
breaking a sweat, like, whoo.
"Are you gonna bring that up?"
Yeah, give me a second.
Okay, I guess we can figure out how to get ourselves back onto the ship. I do have my rope of climbing. I think if how close is Darrow with our ship?
Oh, he pulls up perfectly in tandem.
Okay,
You can
I
jump
want
into the ship.
to take my rope of climbing
Mhm.
and have it snake up onto our deck and tie itself around.
Okay, so the magic rope comes and ties itself and affixes itself to your ship. Okay.
Really cool.
And then I'll tie the ship
Okay.
to it.
You're tied up.
That way we can get across if we need to.
All right, you got it.
I'm gonna start shifting the supplies as close to the edge and start calling someone over to grab them.
Some
Yeah.
other sailors.
Oh yeah, we can hand it over.
Yeah.
Find us
They
a
look
secondary flank.
really spooked.
You get these and you get them back on the ship.
Roll intimidate.
I'm actually trained in this.
Oh yes.
You're freaky.
15.
15. They're like, and they just like they
So
go
I'm-
over and they're
I'm
like shaking
handing
hands
to
and
them
they
so
take it.
can- yeah.
All right.
We're getting these fucking supplies.
Okay.
If nothing else.
Cordelia and Brooks, go ahead and roll 1d4.
D4. Yeah.
A 3.
A 4.
Sorry, I just meant one of you roll.
3.5.
3.5.
Okay, we'll call it 3. You can split up the 3 between gunpowder or provisions as much as you want.
I want to say 2 powder.
So you can say 2 gunpowder, 1 provision, 3 provisions, however you want to call it.
Or three powders.
I mean, how much
Even?
powder do we have? None?
We have
One?
one.
I feel like it would be easier to find food than it will be, or maybe a water and
Yeah.
2 powders.
Yeah.
So you guys have absconded with the materials, and the pirate ship has not. They have not done anything. Like they have not. their skeletons
It
have
wasn't
not-
against
Yeah.
their orders, so.
That would bump that back. But now we
So-
have.
Kai has rushed back into the captain's quarters.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
And at first he's kind of like, Salt King, please. The code says that your word is the law here. But the code also stands for the freedom of man. Kill him if we must, but we shouldn't. You shouldn't keep this man imprisoned for eternity. It's pitch black because all the lanterns have gone out.
That is true.
I'm gonna need you to make. Yeah, we're
Does
gonna,
this make a request?
you're making a request. Yeah. So
Is
it's-
it like the fridge whenever you open it and the lights turn on? Like once you open
No.
up the door, the candles turn back on?
I have dark vision, so Kai's just like, this is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has dark vision.
Yeah, you're gonna roll a little.
I wish I had dark
You're gonna roll some diplomacy. You're making a request. So
Just stay close to me.
roll
I got it.
diplomacy.
Sure. I'm not even concerned with how this goes. This is actually my backup plan. Bad.
Bad.
Bad. It's an
How
8
bad?
total. Oh no, sorry, it's a 2 total. I misread my.
What do you do with a drunken sailor? What do you do with a drunken sailor? And you see now,
Smash cut
all the
already.
skeletons are cleaning the deck a little bit more aggressively. And like as you guys are loading the supplies, you notice that they're no longer like ignoring you guys completely. They're singing still, but now they're like looking at you guys as they're like moving.
I want to
Getting the last barrel
inspect
across.
the
Yeah.
ridges around the skull, the crown, like the crown of the skull. You know. You mentioned ridges, and you said there was salt on it. Is the salt like a single unified piece? Is this a crown of salt?
Based on like what you've been investigating, what you see, that is where his crown, which is literally a crown made of salt, burned through his skin and into his skull. So at one point he probably was wearing a crown made of salt that burned into his flesh and burned the salt crown is gone. All that remains are those crystals in his eyes, which look like they're worth quite a bit.
Of course they are.
Mitch was just like, please, can we leave this encounter?
I almost get out.
I'm gonna look. I want to like basically ransack the quarters. I'm looking to see if I can find a salt crown.
No.
Turn it into the eyes.
It said in the journal that Ernie read. Did you read that out loud?
Yes.
I did.
I remember it said to give it to.
He passed the salt crown on to someone named Raphael. He said he and Jacques were his best deckhands, and he hopes they find better use for it than he did.
I heard that he wanted to pass it to them. I didn't know if it had said that he actually did it.
Jacques was the name of the guy in the cells, right?
No.
No?
It was
Frederic.
Frederic. Sorry.
If you've passed the salt crown, then you
Yes.
are not captain anymore.
No food, only combat.
Your word does not carry the weight it once did.
The lights sort of like, the lights are out. So I'll say that the skull just sort of like vibrates a little bit, and you can see this sort of like shadow growing around it, but it just sort of like pulses like your eyes, and not like a magic flame is growing on or anything, but like, you know when your eyes are like playing tricks on you, it's like sort of like warping a little bit in your vision.
I'll see what the crew thinks. And and Kai is gonna spin around and walk out of the captain's quarters and go find the nearest cleaning skeleton.
Okay. Well, let me just put
Slightly
Kai on the
more
board real
agitated
quick.
than
Swapping the poop dick.
previous.
Where's Kai? Kai is missing in
Missing?
action. So Kai, you are going to be
His stealth was too high.
this.
Do you want me to see if I can go find it?
No, it's okay. He should have been with all the stuff I set up earlier. But Kai, you're gonna be right here. So you step out.
Is he already on the map? That's
He
something else.
I'm looking for him.
Okay.
I don't think so.
So you step out.
You there, fellow. The one in the captain's quarters. Where's your real captain now?
Is the captain. Captain's orders. Captain of the ship.
No, he passed his crown.
We follow the Salt Crown. Salt Crown's in the south. Isles of Liberation.
Isles of Liberation. The crown is in the Isles of Liberation. And yet, you keep someone hostage? You hold someone captive? Your captain is in a place of freedom.
Roll diplomacy.
Here we go. We're gonna make them M-word. Oh, it hit the. Oh no!
You can re-roll.
I don't have to. I thought it was tipping. That's
Oh,
not.
it's not tipping. Okay.
It's a 17.
A 17. They look, and then you say they just look, and it looks confused. Captain's orders. Pay his penance. Pay for what he did.
The one in the quarters said that, or your captain said that.
Captain's orders. Pay his penance. Pay his penance. Captain's orders.
You don't know.
You can see that like your
just work
argument
here.
is compelling,
But he's dumb.
but they are ensorcelled by what keeps them alive here. So, downstairs, the
I'm pouring most of this out, but some of it's still getting in.
so
How does
The jailer
creative
turns
diversion
around.
work?
This is like arguing with my 5-year-old. The jailer turns around the corner.
Oh, sorry, buddy. I'll have these out of your way in a minute. Oh,
Checking his watch, like, where is Wesley with that barrel?
It like stops, and then it reverts its path and starts going back the other way.
I'm empty.
I can't.
It sprints back
Why?
to.
I'm trying to keep him away.
It sprints
I'm trying to
back
keep
to
away
you.
from you.
It takes a giant, like, it takes a jug of moonshine, like the size of Ernie, and it, like, thrusts it into your hands, like you have to hug it, and it tilts you backwards, and he actually flips you upside down on the bottle, so it's like pouring into your mouth, and you can't, like, breathe. It's just, like, pouring so much.
I'll hold my breath for 36 seconds.
We learned that that's how long you can do that.
You see Frederic, he's drinking, but his hand is shaking, and he's looking, and you watch him counting, and you see as it takes its steps, he reaches into his pocket. I can wait no longer. He pulls out the key, and he wild eyes makes eye contact with you, Wesley.
Do I need to create a diversion?
That's the creative diversion. Look, I've seen it.
I need both you
Creative
and
pursuit.
you.
Attempt to distract if gestures, trick, and manipulate if verbal, auditory, or linguistics. Deception versus perception DC.
Okay. What are you gonna try and create for your diversion?
As I'm like fiddling with the barrels,
Mm-hmm.
this is gonna be like gesturing. I mess up the stock of booze. So like as I'm like maneuvering, I kind of fall into it. So
You roll versus his perception DC.
yeah, I don't think I'm trained in deception though, so this is gonna be scary. No, I am not trained in deception. And I'm out of hero points.
SE
17.
Yeah.
No, 18.
18. So, Wesley, you're creating this diversion, and you're like, and the bottles spill everywhere, and it immediately comes over there. At that moment, it's got its full attention on you, and it raises its spear, just like angrily, like shaking at you. It's not attacking you. Ernie, what move are you making, real quick?
I reach into my pocket and into my breast pocket and grab something with my hand, and I am ready. If he spots the guy getting out of the jail cell, I'm gonna run straight for the guy within the jail cell.
Sweet. You can use that for your initiative. As Frederic is seeing Wesley, he can wait no longer. He's been here so long, and he says under his breath, "Liberté." And he unlocks it, and he tries to be subtle, but as the door opens, it's just like the sound of iron scraping on iron.
Squeaky
The
doors.
thing turns around and sees Frederic, and then it cracks its neck back over towards Wesley, raises its spear, and I need everyone to go ahead and roll initiative. Y'all avoided this for such
At
a
the
long
top-
time.
at-
Tried to delay it.
On the top decks, Kai has walked over to the two of you. He says, "It's not the fucking captain. We're freeing him."
So,
Well, isn't he the captain of
because
this
I
ship?
ready
Just
an
not
action,
like
do I
of
just go
all?
first, or should I roll?
No, fuck that.
No, you have to roll initiative. Like
Okay.
that's yeah. There's no surprise round. There's no
Okay, I thought
ready
I
to
thought
action
you said
outside of
I get
combat.
an
Explain to
action.
me.
No, I mean you can use something else besides perception if you want. Like if you want to use an attack and roll your attack score for your initiative, I'll let that happen.
Oh, it's using an item, so it doesn't really.
Yeah,
apply.
gotcha. All right, so I'm gonna roll.
Crafting is.
Explain to me why I always roll
Use
a nat
crafting
20
for your-
for
I mean,
initiative.
technically, I'm gonna be doing.
They have to be somewhere,
Okay.
but they can't be anywhere useful.
Exactly.
I feel like you always act first.
I do, and I don't like it.
All right,
I'm using my thievery.
let's get ready for this.
I use crossing
Chat
my
rolled a
arms.
4. Chat rolled a 4 for initiative. We like that.
Makes sense.
I use crossing my arms for
My
initiative.
initiatives are never good. I need to just take the feat where I can
Alright.
go last and get panache immediately.
Oh, that's cool.
30 to 25.
29.
Okay, I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. All right, Ernie, 29.
Yeah.
Cordelia,
26.
25 to 20.
23.
I have 20.
Kai, Brooks, and then we've got Wesley,
Spooky, scary skeletons.
the jailer. Everyone else? Did I miss everybody? Ernie, Cordelia, Kai, Brooks, Wesley. Okay, and then the skeletons
Chat.
will go last.
What about chat?
Chat.
Chat roll a 4.
Skeletons, and then the champion skeletons. The bosuns.
No,
Like the
they
what?
have
So
those.
you guys are actually
We should have recruited
the
them.
low decks with this blocking.
Dude, if we
He's
got
right
undead bosuns,
here,
that'd be dope.
you're right here.
They never stop.
If I could have an assault crown, I'm
You
gonna
would
put
be
that
on
shit
here,
on
right?
and start
You're doing
commanding
that
them.
distraction. Oh, y'all are upstairs with a lot of skeletons. Yeah, if someone doesn't want to run to the office and find any orc mini to replace this, that'd
Well,
be
I
great.
think I'm the freest.
I don't know where Kai's mini went, but I'm sorry about that.
Stuck.
All right, at the top of the deck, we're gonna have.
Step bro, step bro, help!
Oh my God! We found Kai. He was on the
God.
floor for some reason.
Thanks, step bro.
Thanks. Let me get some HPs out real quick, y'all. Oh, that's not so much. It's fine. It's fine.
How do you think skeletons feel about this?
Ernie, you're
Do
up
you think
first.
do you think they care?
All right. I pull with my left hand prominently. I pull a dagger out and I say, "The prisoner's getting away. Let's get him!" And I run straight at him,
At
at the guy getting out.
at
my
Frederic.
gosh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's action 1.
All right.
With action 2, I get in real close and I'm gonna palm what I pulled out of my breast pocket and stick it inside his breast pocket. And so, planting an object, it's a thievery check.
Okay.
With my
Roll
second.
thievery. Something's
please make this
happening.
Please make this work.
Something is really happening.
I'm
here.
gonna use a hero point just because this is too cool for it to fail.
Okay.
Please.
Well, do I get to choose the higher?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
23.
Versus perception DC.
I think so.
Pass.
Okay. So I plant that object with the second one, and then I puncture that object, which was a fake blood pack. And then, faking the knife stab, I shove him to the ground. I say, "Play dead." And I shove him to the ground. I'm like, "He's dead. I got him." As blood explodes all over his front.
That's not penance.
You pass your deception check, but this is a magically inclined, literal sort of tied to his punishment creature.
The fake blood pack gives me a +2 item bonus to relevant deception checks.
I want you to roll a flat check.
And now
If
it's
you
just covering
roll,
ketchup.
if you roll lower than a 16,
That's where my tomatoes went.
it's gonna be suspicious.
He might be mad at me. Well,
Oh.
I rolled a 10.
You have hero points.
I'll use it. I'm out.
On this flat check.
That's not any better.
So you can see it's a really good plan. As you're like, he's dead, he's done. The creature is just. The flaps open and like the teeth like almost like expand in this rage. It looks like that's not gonna. It's too magically tied to his penance. It cannot be
I
fooled.
don't know
in
what to
this
tell the
manner.
man. He's dead.
I done tell you.
I
So
killed
a
him.
hero point is like a inspiration thing that you can use to re-roll a dice and give you a chance at a better number. Everyone has 3 actions per turn. You can use the action to move or do an attack or a spell or something like that. But basically you have 3. So you can move 3 times, you can attack 3 times, or you can do an activity which takes up multiple actions. But hero points, you give them out for different things and it helps people roll better. It's not a class thing, it's a mechanic thing for everyone. That's going to bring us to Cordelia. The skeletons are now rising.
And there's
They're
6 up here?
There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The ones in gold seem to be a little bit more powerful than the ones in
They're a bit more well
Whichever
equipped.
ones those are.
And their
Yeah.
bones are a bit more
Robust.
muscly.
so
Big
all the
bones.
gold armored ones look a little bit tougher.
She just goes, "Well, boys, it was fun while it lasted." And I'm gonna use animated assault and catch these 2.
Okay.
Um,
Champion 1 and number 1. Okay.
and I need them to go ahead and make a reflex saving.
Reflex save coming out.
As
Ooh.
as chunks of broken bit of the ship rise up and start bludgeoning them.
All right. Little boy. Reflex is going to be.
Little boy.
He rolled a 22, and then the big one, he rolled a reflex plus. Oh, heck. He rolled a 27.
Okay, well they save, so they're gonna take
Half damage.
half damage.
What type of damage? Because it doesn't
It's
matter.
bludgeoning.
Interesting.
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 The best kind of deep descent.
As you see, their brittle bones do not resist the bludgeoning damage of this assault. As the I'll let you describe.
Yeah, it's chunks of broken debris from the ship, as well as like the little like brushes they were using to scrub it in their buckets. It's all just rising and
Smacking them like a
and
poltergeist. I love
battering
it.
them.
How
Love it.
bitchy.
So it's not very sour.
So half a 10-5.
Okay,
They take-
this one shatters
Ooh.
and bursts into nothingness, and that other one takes 5. Okay.
And then I still have one. There's one right next to me.
Yeah, this guy right here.
She kind of like grins at him and throws her shield up for her last action.
There, I should have moved the camera a little bit sooner. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, love it. Great turn. Kai, you're up.
What are the most skeletons I can get into a 15-foot cone?
If you walk upstairs and get like, how long is your stride? How long is your stride?
I've got 25 feet. I have 25-foot stride.
If you spend all 25 feet striding, you can get on top of the railing and shoot a cone down and get 3 of them in a 15-foot
Oh, that's
cone.
glorious.
Oh,
I'm
no.
gonna do exactly that.
I lined them up. Why did I do that?
So Kai races up the stairs, leaping, years and years on a ship, leaping up to the railing, perched precariously, no trouble balancing whatsoever, whips his Giselle up, and fires directly at the skeleton in front of him.
Okay. That's one of the champions.
Yep. Okay, so that is going to be a... Oh, we got a +1.
He's flat-footed. He hasn't moved yet.
Oh boy. This is an easy hit. This might crit, actually. 1 second.
Well, I think that's.
I would-
27.
I would like to say attack of opportunity from this one first.
Yeah,
as a reaction.
of course.
He is going to hit probably. It's going to be a
What is it to hit?
28.
That is.
Okay.
It's not a crit, but
It's not a crit. That's important, actually, because you can interrupt your action with a crit. So as he slashes you with his long sword, you're going to take 11 points of slashing.
Okay.
And then go ahead and finish your turn. I'm so sorry.
It's
then.
27 to hit.
Crit.
Crit. Excellent.
That's exact crit on his flat-footed.
Perfect.
So if you score 10 higher than their AC, it's a crit even if you don't roll an
I
actual
don't think
20.
he's flat-footed. I
That's
think
a
that's a
rogue
rogue
creature.
special thing.
Oh,
Yes.
if they haven't acted yet?
It's
That's a 1E holdover rule in my brain that I had. My bad.
Rogues treat those. That
Not a
die.
crit then, I'm so sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
I'm
Because
very
it still
sorry.
hits, right? That's
Yes.
the most important piece.
Mhm.
All right. Then I need all of the creatures in said 15-foot cone to now make a will save as the color spray
All
attached
three?
to the spell strike is released.
All 3?
All 3 of them. Yes.
Oh, will save.
A will
Oh, okay. I'll assign these to the ones like in order. So he had a 6. I hit the dice. And then this one was a 15. All right. So this is just to help me keep a track of it. The little one. There's no little one. Oh yeah, there's a little one right here. He rolled a 14, but plus will is 2, so 16.
save. Fail.
Okay, that's a fail for him. The big one rolled a 6, and he has a plus 6. So
Fail.
12?
Yep, fail.
Okay, he failed. The other one rolled 15 plus 6 is 21. The one
That's
right
a
in front of
pass.
you.
That's a regular success.
So in right in front of you passed, the other 2 failed.
Okay,
That's-
so the one right in front of me is dazzled for a round.
Okay, dazzled.
The other 3 or the other 2, excuse me, are stunned 1.
Ooh.
They're blinded for a round,
Ooh.
and they're dazzled for a minute.
Oh!
And I need the one right in front of me. Go ahead and take 3 damage on top.
Okay,
of that.
3 damage on top.
And it's bludgeoning damage. My gun does whichever piercing
You
or bludgeoning,
choose. Yeah,
whichever's better.
absolutely. I love it. All right, he's a little hurt.
And it's gonna do 3 points of damage.
So I like to imagine the bullet that Giselle bursts out of the top of his skull and breaks on the side of his jaw, and then it explodes into the spell strike of color spray. Psh,
That
this
is exactly
prismatic
what I was
energy
gonna
just
say happens.
blinding and dazzling these guys. Okay, absolutely. I
very
love that.
cool.
Anything else, Kai?
No, that is 3 actions.
Brooks, you're right here. Behold my power.
Play dead. Get back to your sleep.
Brooks, you're right here.
Right there. Cordelia is where to me?
Right beside
Cordelia's right there.
The
I know you can, the camera is
the
like right in your
one of
face.
the octopus legs of the camera is walking.
She's right here.
Okay, she's right next to me.
Yeah, she's right next to you.
Is there a skeleton right next to her?
There's the skeleton
Right in front of
adjacent
us.
to you. Yes.
Is there just the one there?
It's just the one.
Is it one of the ones that's fucked up?
It's a scrubby boy. No, it's not one of the fucked up
Okay.
ones.
He's going to. Since I'm not moving, can I take out my weapon as part of my strike action, or is it? It has to be part of the strike.
It's
action?
part of a move action. I'm pretty sure. You can't draw a weapon as part of a strike action. As far
If
as
you
I'm
have quick
aware.
draw. That
You
is
don't have
quick draw.
Okay, so I'm gonna use an
I
action
think
to
quick draws you can
pull out
do it
my
in addition.
silver
Quick
fork,
draw.
All right, one action to pull out the fork.
and use a command word.
Is the command that I write that's an action to interact? Is it a second action to use the command word?
I believe
It just
is.
says by saying it.
Let's see.
Yeah.
It'll usually be like activate.
Yeah, it just says by saying the command word.
Activate one action, interact. It spends an action to activate it. So sorry.
So it's 2 actions to do
Two
that?
actions. So you pull it out and you say the command word. Say it.
Well, I'm just gonna take 2 actions. I don't know. if
You
I
want to
wanna
glaive
do
instead?
that. I might.
Or you could just use it as a fork.
I'm actually. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna punch the one next to me.
Okay.
I'm just gonna punch it.
Unarmed strike. I hope you're trained
Just
in
gonna
those.
deck it.
I am trained in that.
It is non-lethal, so if you want to make it lethal, it's a -2 penalty.
I'm gonna use a hero point
Okay.
because I want this to be cool.
Yeah, that's
Hopefully.
why. That's what hero points are good for.
They don't last a session, so.
17.
17 against the little one.
Yeah.
His AC is 16. You got him.
Okay, so I'm gonna punch it
1d4 plus
Plus
strength
2.
bludgeoning.
for 4 damage, 4 bludgeoning damage.
You're like, my fork's not like activated, so you just deck this one and it goes, ooh, Ryan. The bones shatter and it's gone.
And then
They have exactly 4 HP.
he goes to. What's the next closest one?
This one's 15 feet away from you. That's the one that's blind and dazzled.
Okay. So he punches it, and then he's going to. Then he's gonna take out the the fork and say, "It's dinner time." And
So the silver fork extends into this magnificent silver trident, this 3-pronged weapon of yours. It is dinner time.
and then he's just gonna kind of stand in front of Cordelia
Okay.
with it. And that takes 2 actions, right?
There you go. Yep.
You get a room to change it to a spoon to deal bludgeoning.
Yeah.
It's like a big claw.
After Brooks, it's the jailer's turn.
It's a meat tenderizer mallet.
The jailer,
It's a little suspicious.
he's a little suspicious, but he's just not happy.
The whole dinner set.
So he's going to go ahead, and his first action is going to be a sinful bite. He turns to you,
Sinful.
and you hear its horrible croak. What do you do with the drunkenness? Ah! And it latches onto Wesley's neck.
You'll try.
13 versus AC.
That is a miss.
It snaps, and you just like leap out of the way, springing away from him as it chomps down. As you like spring that way, it swings its giant like spear directly at you. It's gonna go ahead and try and make its spear attack.
He's crit miss.
It's agile. It's gonna be a 13 versus AC.
That's the same thing as before, so it misses.
Okay.
Looking for a 21.
So it's just trying to hit you, and it's just absolutely frustrated that it can't. So it's gonna stomp and like make its way into the cell with stride for its last action. All right, and it's like now over Ernie and the other Frederic, and it's just like looking.
Not like that boy.
All right, that's it for the jailer. Wesley, you're up, and then it's the skeleton.
I'm gonna follow him over there.
Okay, that's one stride, one action.
And
Let me
then
turn the camera, I'm
I'm
so
going
sorry.
to attempt a disarm on his trident. thing.
Okay.
So it's a
Versus his athletics DC.
It's athletics versus fortitude. I believe.
His fortitude. Okay, got you.
Let me double check.
I think that sounds right to me.
Yeah. Yep.
Sounds cool.
Athletics versus reflex. Actually.
Oh, reflex. Interesting. Okay, gotcha.
Oh, but that sounds cooler.
So that's a 28.
28. That does succeed.
Just normal succeed.
Yes, it is not a crit.
Okay, so I have a. So that gives me panache.
So Wesley, you kind of tumble in and, like the Dark Souls rapier thrust from rolling,
And-
you roll in and it drops the spear to the ground.
Well, that's not how disarm works. It gets a penalty.
Right.
It's a crit success that knocks it out of his hand.
You were one away.
Yeah.
Dang. It's always +1 away.
So,
I know, right?
So until it says until their turn, it's a +2 to against disarming attempts,
Mhm.
and it's a -2 to use that item. But because I have the, where is it? It's a disarming flare, it's until the end of their next turn instead of the start of the next turn, but they can use an interact action to readjust their grip on it.
Mm-hmm.
But since I'm feeling saucy, I'm going to try and knock it out of his hand.
Okay.
South.
So this is -5, but +2, so it's -3 from
Is he a
before.
-2 or you have +2 for this disarmament?
I have +2, but
Okay.
it's -5 because that's the attack trait.
All right.
And I have a +1 because I have panache, so it's actually only -2 from my act.
Do you,
might be
do
able
you
to do
still
it.
have the potency crystal that I gave you? Or did you use it?
I thought you gave him your second thing today.
I gave him the root magic one. You still have the potency crystal unless you used it.
I have not, but I don't. Can I do this on a? Does it have to be a strike, or does it?
I'll look it up.
Because that's not. That's. I don't think that's.
What's your roll?
I don't think that's gonna. Oh, where'd my stats go?
You make an attack.
That was -2.
Oh, the striking weapon.
17.
17 versus his
Over
reflex
turn, I
DC?
see.
Yeah.
Against his reflex DC?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm sorry, that doesn't quite make it.
Well, it's still.
Yeah, he's
out of
still
his hand,
like
but I
he's
didn't-
still
I
like
didn't knock it again.
doesn't have a strong grip on it. So you strike at the hand, and he's like trying to hold on to it. Doesn't have a good grip, and it will have to spend an action
He's
to
like-
readjust on that.
Mhm.
All right, anything else for Wesley? All right.
No,
So-
it's till the end of my next turn
Oh, okay.
instead of the end of its turn.
All right. So
Unless it takes that action.
blinded. These two are blinded, correct, from the color spray?
Yep.
You can't see. All normal terrain is difficult terrain. You can't detect anything using vision. You automatically critically fail perception checks. And you take -4 to your perception checks if you don't have any other precise senses. You're immune to visual effects. So, I'm going to roll a flat check to see what direction, if they can even tell what direction to get to you guys.
And they're stunned 1 on top of that, so,
So they have
one
one
less
fewer
action.
action. So this one, this one is gonna run into the mast for its first action, and for its second action, it kind of generally understands where like Cordelia and Brooks are, and it's like, and it's like looking around, but it doesn't.
He's sniffing me with his nose.
Yeah,
hole.
it's like looking around for you, feeling like around from where you are. This one runs into the captain's quarters.
Uh-oh. He's like, I need to
And
get the
he
hat.
he just stays in the captain's quarters. You don't see
He's one of the blinded
you
ones.
don't see anything else from that guy.
The hat.
That's both
scene.
their actions. Now, the other two are just fine. This one's gonna use one action to stride and get up behind Brooks.
Oh no, that's my weak spot.
Yes. Prepare for the riposte.
Oh no.
So he is going to go ahead and make a lance. He's going to make a lance attack
I know you're
against
saying
you.
he's gonna make a lot of attacks.
Yeah, no, he's going to make 2. 21 versus AC.
Oh, that hits.
Okay, that's going to be a nice little
And he-
7 points of piercing to you. And as the spear kind of like pierces into your side, it's going to like, as it's stuck in you, take its claw and like try and rend you in the side of your stomach as
And
well.
this is one of the bigger ones, right?
Yeah, it's one of the bigger ones.
So as he strikes me,
Mhm.
how much damage is that again?
it was 7.
7. And I resist some with
Okay.
my scale armor.
Where's piercing?
He used piercing, right?
It was piercing.
Yeah, here's one.
Yeah. So as he pierces Brooks, and like blood kind of flies out of him, it slows and then crystallizes in air and then forms a lance and shoots back.
Oh!
I'm gonna use Blood Vendetta
Blood Vendetta. All right.
as a reaction.
You got it.
Are spells you get to bleed damage?
Well, it just. Oh.
It's,
it does-
it's,
it
it's
does
persistent
persistent
bleed
bleed.
damage. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Do you
Well,
want to? It's
maybe I won't
pretty
do that.
cool.
It is cool, but
Man, you flavored that so cool. You're like,
I thought it
spell
just
him.
did damage, but it's bleed damage. So no. I'm not gonna do that.
Immunities. Hang on.
He doesn't have blood though.
I mean,
Look.
blood is made in the bones. Marrow.
That's true.
Resistant marrow
Actually,
damage.
hang on. Point of order. I don't want to slow down combat or anything like that.
But are they?
But are they immune?
Vote in chat. Do skeletons?
Do
have
skeletons
blood?
bleed?
It just says requirements. You can bleed.
It has
We're checking to see if it
blood
can take that
damage.
damage.
Another special type of damage is bleed damage. This persistent damage that represents loss of blood. As such, it has no effect on non-living creatures or living creatures
Yeah,
that
okay.
don't need blood to live.
Okay, so I don't
Weaknesses
do
and
that.
resistances to physical damage apply. Alright. Sorry.
That's okay.
I thought it'd be cool. Sorry.
Okay, so I just take it, like a champ.
Okay. And then I think it misses its second attack. I rolled something low, like a 7, and I don't think it's going to hit you. So.
Critical.
Well, no,
miss.
without the plus.
Oh.
All right, so that's
Regular
that one.
miss.
This one's going to turn to Kai. Do I want to shove you off the boat?
Well, you'd have to make a flat check because I'm concealed to him because he's dazzled.
Oh, he is dazzled. That's right. All right, so he's gonna turn on his heel. He's making 5, right?
Yep, 5.
He rolled an 11, so he can access.
Damn your
you.
luck.
Hey, I got a 75% chance. Math. He is going to just actually take 2 strikes with a long sword at you. 1, 2.
I don't like that.
29 versus AC.
Just a hit.
Just a hit. Not a crit.
Not a crit.
Your
21.
AC's 20. Oh, dang. Okay.
You know, this whole time I haven't been wearing my armor. It was clicked off.
Oh, okay. You take 10 points of slashing from the first hit.
Okay.
As he strikes across your chest, he does a follow-up where he swings it upwards. And I rolled a 17, so 23 is going to hit you the second
That does
one, too.
hit me, yes.
And that one's going to be 6 points of slashing, so... The skeleton makes a 1-2 combo of you on the edge as it strikes, still dazzled, like trying to see. And that is dazzled 1, right? So it's gone now?
It is gone now, yes.
All right, he's no longer dazzled. They're dazzled for a whole minute, and they're blind for how long?
The blind is
It's
over
gone.
after their round. Yes,
All
they
right,
were
got
blind
it.
for a round.
A lot of conditions for you to keep track
Are
of.
they also no longer? Well, they were only stunned once. So
Yep.
The stun is gone, the blinded's gone, the dazzled's
Got it, so
still
they're
there.
still dazzled. All right, we like it. Ernie, you're up.
Yeah, man. Can you clarify for me where exactly is that jailer standing?
He is standing in this square of the cell. It's a 5-foot
So
square.
he is
Well,
inside the cell.
He's in the cell with you.
All right, and I'm at the front of the cell,
You're at the front of the cell.
as is the other guy.
Yeah, you're in the cell. This is like the door, and he's in the cell. You're all in the cell.
Cool.
It's hell in a cell.
I'm gonna pull.
hell's
Is Wesley in the cell? Wesley is not in the cell.
Wesley's right outside the cell.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah,
pull.
kind of stuck between the
Thank
jars.
you for
to
reminding me. Chet doesn't see this.
I'm gonna spend action 1 to pull the guy out of the cell.
He's in the way,
Where's the door? I thought it was behind me.
right next to this guy. So I guess technically you did get in right, and you were right in there.
Yeah.
So you moved in and gave him that. He would have moved in and kind of moved in. All right, you can try.
All right, I'm gonna pull him out with action 1.
All right, it is going to make an attack opportunity because you're trying to move. Do a move action.
Is he gonna swing at me or him?
He's gonna move it. Swing at you.
Okay.
He does have -2 to the roll.
Yes, he does because it's his off grip. Natural 1.
Okay.
He tries to swing and it just critically misses. It clangs against the jail door.
All right. So I'm gonna pull him out.
Okay. 1 action.
Action 2. I'm gonna shut the door.
Okay.
Chink chink. It locks. I'm gonna walk away.
You stride. 5,
I
10,
pick the guy
15,
up with my 3rd action.
Okay, you
and
stand up.
We walk away. He doesn't have the key. We're done. Let's leave.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay.
Well,
All right, Cordelia.
This guy, the skelly's right on top of me.
Uh huh.
Okay.
Small skelly.
do it.
He's an itty bitty skelly.
Rip his head off with my hair.
Well, she's gonna kind of like rear back a little and be like, okay, I haven't done this before, and launch her hair forward at it.
Yes!
To smack him.
Bayonetta.
I whip my. No, I can't sing that. Copyrighted.
Ooh, that's a 27.
That's a crit.
Haven't done this before.
Ooh, if you don't describe it, I have a good one.
I'll let you describe it since you've got a good one.
What'd you get? How much damage do you add anything to it?
But it's a crit, so you roll another die.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Or double.
Oh yeah, you double
No.
everything actually.
Well, another one.
You roll
so-
another die.
Well, another
I'll let
one,
you roll
so
another
it doesn't
one.
matter.
Strength.
10.
Yeah, it's 2 damage.
Okay, it's still up.
But still,
It's still alive.
that was so cool.
So punch it with your hair. So Cordelia, you whip your hair
wanted to
forward,
kill it.
and it grabs onto the skeleton, and you watch as the hair strands go around it, and you just and it breaks off ribs and breaks off little bones, and it's still mostly undead, like alive near you, but it's like crumbling, and it's barely hanging on, but it's still there.
Let's try it again.
Okay.
Is your hair finesse? I mean, it's an unarmed strike,
It's,
so most of them are.
yeah. Same roll, but for a 23 now.
Yep, it's gonna hit.
Do it. Do it.
A 1.
Okay.
A 1.
It's
You break off another bit of bone, and it lingers on with its 1 HP.
it's in the jail cauldron
It
now.
could not be in more,
It's in the
more
jail.
at death's door.
You know,
So what you see, Brooks,
She's
as
trying.
you're like combating this thing and like battling it and it's striking at you, you see Cordelia like and like pulling off bits of the bones and like cracking it like breaking the bones of Thanksgiving.
oh, this isn't working.
It's not working. Need some practice. Oh, I'm sorry. That was so cool though. All right,
Rolled a 1
Kai.
both times. Well,
Okay.
Oh, you
that
have
was
more?
that was 2
Those 2
actions.
I'm sorry.
You have one more action.
One
you could,
more.
You could punch it again.
Do it again.
Do it again.
You rolled so well for those.
Play that same
It's
song.
only got 1 HP
You know what?
left.
Channel your
Yeah.
anger.
God. Yeah.
Is it a 1? What is it?
Well,
Well, add your bonus.
Add your
I don't
ChatGPT
think,
help.
I don't think I
Okay.
get a bonus to it
Okay,
because it's
yeah.
the 3rd attack.
So, I had something for that too. I'm sorry, Cordelia.
Dang.
So you're actually, as you're like trying to whip it the 3rd time, your hair gets tangled up, and you're like, "Ugh,"
Oh no.
and it gets knotted a little bit. And you have to pull it back and like recall it because you start to panic and think like
Yeah.
this could get bad.
Yeah.
All right, Kai. I'm sorry I skipped you.
You're having some nice bone ornaments.
Kai.
though.
Kai's seen a lot of fanfare from Wesley lately, and he's gonna try to be like him a little bit here. I'm gonna do a tumble through check. I'd like to leap over the skeleton in front of me.
Go for it.
Acrobatics versus their reflex.
Oh, I should have used it on the.
Thank you for the hero point, chat.
I keep forgetting about them. I need to remember them. I could have used it.
Ooh, hero point,
Reflex?
hero point, big hero point.
Oh, the big one, right?
Yeah, over the big one.
Uh
Oh, not much better. Oh, yikes, sad. Okay,
oh. Tumble through is
acrobatics.
the move trait, right? Can I attack
Yes,
opportunity
it
that?
does have the
The point, part of the
It
point is
doesn't,
to not
right?
get
Yeah,
one.
that's
Yes.
right.
Hold on, my thing's reloading. I believe
Is it
it's a
only
17.
Only on a success, right?
Correct. On a failure, I would trigger as though I'd moved.
Mhm,
Yep. It specifically says that.
Right. So you tumble through it, and as you're like rolling, it's like when you time your roll in Elden Ring a little too slow. He gets you on the hitbox, natural 1, and it just.
So do I,
chops.
I still make it to the other side of him?
Yeah, you make it to the
okay,
other side of
awesome. So I'm behind him now.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna shove him off the freaking boat.
Okay.
yeah, no.
Okay.
Shove is versus fortitude. Yeah.
Yep.
The crit is pushed in 10 feet.
You need a crit.
Oh nope.
Didn't make it. All right.
Wait. Did you crit fail though? Because there's an option for that.
Okay,
I think.
then
Oh wait, no. Yeah. If you
11.
Crit, if you
I
crit
rolled,
fail, it's a,
I rolled an 11.
Against his fort save.
Yeah.
No, you're not a crit fail. You're good.
Okay.
because if you crit fail, you fall prone.
So basically, Kai's just like locked up with
Yeah,
the.
he's like struggling against you at the end of the ship.
And because I have an action left, I'm gonna go ahead and just try to keep pushing him since we're kind of locked up.
Okay.
And I'm using the Giselle, you know.
It does have the attack trait, so it's a,
Yeah, it's gonna take it lower,
multiple
but
penalty.
it's mostly for
it is
flavor.
cool. I'm
at
just
this
letting
point,
you
yeah.
know.
Okay, let's try it with this time. Yeah, I don't think that's it. It's a. If it's got the multiple attack, that's a 13.
A 13
so,
is not a crit
yeah.
fail, so you're fine.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for you. You're just locked in this struggle, trying to like absolutely push this guy over the edge here. All right, that's it for Kai. Brooks, you're up.
How far is Kai from me?
Kai is 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 feet from you.
Okay. I'm going to take my fighter's fork and try and just like hook the one because he has 1 HP left. I feel like anything that hits him is gonna kill him. But
Yeah.
I want to take the fighter's fork and just like
Scoop him.
slam him into the ground. with it.
Okay.
Can you reach on that?
Well, the one in front. How
Yeah.
close is the one in front?
It's 10 feet.
10 feet. Okay. Well, I guess I have to move then. I don't.
Oh.
This probably doesn't have reach.
It's
It's not a glaive.
It's a trident.
Wait, you're not going for the one that's
He's trying to kill the one you're fighting.
there.
Yeah.
Its traits are thrown 20 feet. Oh, you're right. No, it doesn't have reach.
Okay. So I'm going to.
Nope.
This
It's only
one.
got the thrown trait.
Yeah.
Did you move or just the one behind you?
Yeah. Oh, the one. Wait, there's one behind me too.
Yeah, there's a weak
Champion's
one
behind you.
Oh yeah, that's the one I want to hit.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Okay, so 21.
21 does hit, yes.
With my new striking room.
Extra damages.
Yeah. Well. 4, 5, 6, 7.
7 damage, okay.
Kind of damage.
Little hurt.
This is piercing.
Piercing. Okay, he resists a little bit of that.
It is a magical weapon.
Yeah.
Not that matters, but And then what other skeletons are up here? It's the elite.
There's the little itty bitty guy that got torn to bits, and there's another elite one fighting this. The other elite skeleton disappeared into the captain's quarters. No one's seen him since.
Okay.
He was very blind.
And the one in the elite one in front of me looks healthy still.
He's bloodied. But he's a skeleton, so like whatever that means. He's crumbly.
He's dusty.
He's ashy. He's a dusty boy.
He's crumbly.
He's crumbly.
Yeah,
He's
crumbly.
crumbly.
Used to use some cocoa butter.
Okay. As my last 2 actions, so as Brooks is attacking this one, he stabs it, and then almost like an echo or like a shadow from him comes off and appears at the one next to Kai. That's an elite, right? And that one's also going to strike. I'm going to cast Spiritual Weapon.
Okay. So this spiritual form of Brooks, holding the spectral form of the fighter's fork, appears and then also swings.
This also uses your attack penalty.
Oh, natural 20.
That's going to be crit.
Um,
So roll and double everything.
I'll roll 2.
Oh boy.
9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
13 total. Is that the double?
That's, yeah. You don't add you like double the dice. or is
Double
it-
everything.
Oh,
You double
everything.
the addition, yeah.
Everything.
Oh, so 12 plus 5, 17.
17.
Mhm.
If it's times 2. Wait,
You roll 2 dice.
I roll 2 dice.
Instead
okay.
of doubling it.
Mm-hmm.
Is that allowed?
Wait, you roll 2 dice normally. You should roll
No,
2.
it's just one.
Oh,
it's,
for
it's
spiritual
a
weapon.
spell, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay. Got you. 17 total.
Mhm.
Okay. Of what kind of damage?
This is...
It's the type of weapon.
It's whatever it is. It's magical.
Force
Elden
damage.
Ring looks different.
For whatever it is, it's magical.
It's
So
It's
force
force
damage.
damage.
Okay,
Yeah.
force damage. Got it.
I could deal damage with the weapon damage if I wanted to.
No, it's fine.
But I wanted
All
to
right,
force.
it's on death's door. All right, sorry about that. Is that it, Brooks?
That's everything, yeah.
The jailer's turn. It mad.
Oh, wait.
So it is. Be right back. No one die. We can't make any promises. So the jailer is mad. Okay, the door clicked, locked behind him, but Frederic and you are still standing right there. It doesn't know where the key is, but
Check your loincloth.
hey.
yeah, hold on, I got it.
Thank you. Oh, delicious ban. It's like first time chat, bot. Enjoy your ban, bot. It's gonna roll at who can reach through here. 2, 3, 4. It's going for Wesley, and what it's gonna do is it's just gonna reach its neck through the hole, and it's just gonna try and bite Wesley.
For a 21.
Oh boy, did I get it? A 26.
Normal hit.
All right, so a normal hit is going to bite against you.
Ow.
You are going to take 6 piercing damage, and you are going to be affected by its sinful bite. Make a will save.
That's what I call it when I eat chocolate cake.
It's dinner time.
A will?
A sinful
Yeah, will
bite.
save.
Ooh.
That's my worst one.
I'm so bad.
Brooks, you have misfortune.
Oh no, I don't have 0 point.
Not from me, that's from chat.
No.
Oh,
That's
no.
a 13.
Who gave me
A
that?
13.
Yeah.
That's a regular failure.
Very sad.
You are sick.
Oh wait, no. I wanted to use my idle luck. So I
Okay,
can do
go ahead
that.
and reroll.
I forgot about it. That makes it a 23.
IDOL?
Fine.
Sorry.
That's a regular success. You are sickened 1.
Second one is
You
minus
feel
1.
ill. You take a status penalty on all your checks and DCs. You can't eat anything, even potions. And you can send a single action to throw up and get rid of it.
And it's the same DC as the afflicted.
Yep.
Your misfortune has been outplayed, chat.
So as it bites at you, it's then like just letting its weapon go, and it can't attack through that. It's just gonna wildly swing its claws at whatever it can reach. It's gonna be Frederic, and then it's gonna be at the last one at you with its most attack penalty. Natural 1 against Frederic as it. It's like trying to reach him. He's like back up against the wall. Monster, and he's like breathing, looking like Jean Valjean, just like. And then the last one is.
I'm not gonna sing it.
Don't, please.
do
And then it's going to claw at you with its last claw. Even with the natural 14, with its plus 0, so 14. And it scratches at you and it just can't reach. As it's like trying to reach you. Alright, that's it for the jailer. It can't get out. Wesley, you're up. Your second one.
Second one.
We're up on it.
It only takes
Yeah, I
an
mean,
action.
I get a fortitude instead of will this time.
You're going to try and retch it up?
Yeah, why not?
If we get all the skeletons dropped,
Nope,
do you think,
that's a waste of
the
action. It's
jailer
only
has to put
14.
them
So
in
Wesley
the
is
cell?
like, "Ugh." You
Probably.
feel like I don't know if Wesley's ever been drunk before, but he feels like alcohol poisoning. Like the bite inflicted this over drunkenness in you. You feel sick to your stomach. You want nothing more than to heave up, and you feel dizzy and hot and uncomfortable, but you can't retch. You spend one action trying to retch, and you can't do it.
Don't let it bite you. And then,
I was about to relate it to a certain fast food brand, but I was like, don't want to scare away sponsors.
Yeah.
Sponsor
You got
us and
him,
it won't
right?
be yours.
I assume Ernie's got the other man.
Yeah, I'll get Frederick out of here.
And then I'm going to stride. Well, first stride, I'll stride 30 feet up deck.
30 will bring you up the stairs, but not up to the top deck.
And I'll stride again. I got 30 more.
30 more? All right, where do you want to go on the top deck? You have the whole top deck to... You walk up
I
and you
guess I'll
see...
try and harry this one next to Cordelia.
Did you say Harry?
Yeah, like
Harry, the one next to
It's a secret
Cordelia? Okay, last action to strike.
Well, you
I
didn't give
see
us
what
that
you
was
did there.
retch 2 strides.
Oh,
I mean,
retch
like,
2
I just
strides.
want to like
All right.
impose, like make myself.
So
kind of
Wesley
threatening
comes
to
up
it.
here looking sick, like he's about to spew, and he comes up. All right, that's it for you, Wesley. Let's go to Skelly Toyans.
I'm helping.
It's Skelly Toyan time. The one in front of Brooks. I mean, I'm trying to be interesting with it, but like literally, they're just skeletons. They
Yeah.
move. They move and attack, guys. I'm sorry. This one's engaging with Brooks, so it is going to just attack twice.
That was against the rules.
He's going to attack with its long sword. Natural 15, so 25 versus AC.
No hits.
And the second one is going to be a 17 versus AC. All right, so the first one's going to strike out at you. You're going to get... Oh, I'm sorry, he was using the spear, not the longsword. My bad. That's going to be 8 points of piercing. These are fun creatures. They're little basic skeletons. It's okay sometimes.
I like it when
You
they
have a jailer
The
that bites
interesting
things to
boy is
drunk.
in the cage.
I believe they were referring to the bite. From
Oh,
earlier.
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, they're pretty cool, and I'll explain them later. You took 8 damage from that, I believe. All right, second one's a miss. Its third action, I think it's going to stay engaged with you, and it's going to try, against all odds, to just try and swing at you with a spear. And against all odds, 17 does not hit your AC. Okay, it just clangs against your armor, and it bounces backwards. That's it for that one. This one, its bones in shambles. It literally crumbles in front of you, dust and dust. As it walks, bits of its rib cage, its femurs, its other bones that I don't know the names of fall off.
The
And
humerus.
it literally
Femurs and the lemurs.
like throws itself on top of you. No! Oh, that might hit against Cordelia.
It's really not hard to
Nummy
do
nummy.
that.
That's going to be 20 versus AC.
Yep.
Nibble. That's going to be
tibias, and
a
wieners.
4 points of slashing.
Okay.
And now that it's on you, it's going to try and bite you twice. With no bonus
Fun.
here.
That's all that happened.
Miss. Miss. Do you have anything for misses, like bonuses or anything? Okay, so as it's on you, it's trying to bite. You can feel the jaw
Yeah.
snapping.
My hair's, like,
In
holding
fact,
it away.
all the bottom half is broken. It's now hugging you, and its bones are latched onto you, and the jaw is just snapping, but it's literally just biting hair, and it can't get to you. All right, that's it for that one. All right, then it's the other big boy. It's gonna hop down from the railing and just land next to you, one stride, and then it's gonna take its sword and it's gonna do a cross slash attack. Natural 1. So it swings and it Kai just like moves out of the way, like moving like the wave, and its clumsiness, as it misses, it's gonna take it to a point and try to stab this time. Natural 4 with the penalty is going to be...
That's not going to hit.
There's nothing it can do to hit that. So it swings past and does not manage to find any purchase on you. However, the blindness is gone.
Yeah. It was just dazzled, and it's dazzled. Its dazzled is gone. The others are dazzled that were, but it's safe.
You hear,
Yeah.
"What do you do with a drunken?" And then you see, in full sprint, the one from the captain's cabin just comes sprinting straight towards Wesley, taking 2 stride actions.
That one's still dazzled.
With this one.
Yeah, that's dazzled for a minute.
Okay, he's still dazzled, right?
Yeah, he's dazzled.
So
Yeah.
he still has his action, but he has to roll a flat check.
Correct.
So he's still full sprinting. What do you do with a drunken? And he's got his spear, and he's just running straight towards Wesley, but you can see there's still like stars around his eyes. So he has to roll a flat check to see if he actually hits you. 4. That's a miss on the flat check. So as he's dazzled, he just stabs the crate next to you and gets the spear and he pulls it out.
Supplies.
Yeah, but it doesn't manage to hit you. Imagine right now, you guys are like kind of tearing away. Like Mr. Darrow's like trying to keep in range.
I do
And
have
you-
it tied together. Though.
Yeah. They're
break
keeping
the rope.
some sort of distance. So this, like you can see some people in the Windfall like taking shots with arrows that are just like not being effective right now. And you can see Flintlock like looking at Kai, and he's got his pistol. He's like, 1 shot.
I thought he lost that.
He got it back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can see, and you just know Rosamund down here. If this doesn't end soon, Rosamund's got the powder ready to go.
Oh god.
All right, that's gonna bring us back to Ernie downstairs.
Hey, Frederick, our ship's alongside up top. If you just want to calmly walk to the top.
I can do that.
Okay. Hand me that key. Thank you.
That took one of my actions.
And one of mine as well.
I thought it was a reaction to...
No, you can receive
Okay,
for
I'll
free. I'm
receive
pretty
it.
sure,
I
right?
think it's a reaction to
Spend your
receive.
next 2 strides
I
heading
might
up
be wrong.
top.
All right.
If
Let's just
life were
say
a
you and
game-
Frederick, 2
Simultaneously.
actions. You're back up top. Frederick comes up. He is shaking. Like he could not hold a sword if you gave it to him right now. Like his fingers are. He's more skeleton than skeletons right now.
All right, I am going to. I'm basically just going to usher him onto the Windfall,
Okay.
and I'm going to
Which side
stand.
is the Windfall on?
Yeah, which side's the Windfall on?
I think the side that
Because if it
we're
was on our
we're
core,
on,
Then I
because
would
we were-
turn the other way,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going when we come out and I'm going to try to clear a path to the gangplank for him.
You're gonna try and kill this guy?
Yeah, if he's blocking the way, that's
Yeah,
all.
you're within 5 feet, so you can make
Yeah,
your
I'll
action.
step into a flank with him.
I say not having.
How many was it? 2 strides to get up? You said.
Kind of hard to see from the
Yeah.
map, so I'm gonna say for everybody, there's Ernie. He's the little one right there.
In a fluid motion, I pulled the short sword out of my
That's
backpack
the skeleton
and
he's
make a
attacking.
slashing motion at it.
Okay. Is this the one that's no? That's not the one that's super messed up. That's the one that hasn't been hit.
Yeah, I missed though.
Okay.
Unless
Unless.
Unless
the 12 hits.
the 12 does not hit. Sorry. All right, moving on. Cordelia, it's on you. It's gnawing. It's
We're
trying to
gonna-
get in
we're
there.
gonna- We're gonna hair this up again.
Yes.
Hair pummel.
20.
Yes, that does hit.
Cool.
It has 1 HP. Just let me know
I
how
want
it's
I
done.
want to roll.
Okay. 1.
Kind of 3.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, so she just kind of takes it and launches it off the side of the ship.
So the hair like rolls it up like a shot put, and you can hear the bones scattering across the side of the Windfall as they crush and then spill into the ocean.
Wesley lets out a damn.
Damn!
Damn.
Damn!
And then with her
They were damned, yes.
with her last 2, she's gonna use a telekinetic projectile to pick up one of the buckets and launch it at the one that's.
No, you need to
Sorry, guys.
Oh, you're right. We do.
Sorry, guys.
So you pick up a bucket and it's like
Yeah, and she's gonna launch it at the one that's been smacking
It's the
Brooks.
only bucket on
this
the
one.
Yeah,
All right, go
I guess
for it.
everyone just has one.
just the one.
Absolutely.
Ernie has one in his office that's upside down that he sits on.
You got it. You got it.
13.
A 13 does not.
Oh, hero point though.
Hero
Wait,
point.
I just got one of those. Thank you, chat.
We're using all our buckets for chairs.
17.
17 is
Come on.
not enough. I'm sorry.
Damn
It's
it. Okay.
Ooh.
Their AC is 19.
Well, I got rid of one of them. That's it for me.
Okay. Still pretty cool. You got one. You crushed them. All right. So after Cordelia destroys that one, Kai, you can see Cordelia has crushed one skeleton. There seem to be the 3 elite, which were probably the boatswains of this ship at one point. serving eternally.
Bucket
They
missed them,
still
just goes
hum
overboard.
in front of you. The one brittly hanging on in front of you with its long sword. What do you want to do?
We need to get the hell off this ship! They're gonna fire!
Yep.
I was waiting for the fire.
Did you say boom?
We would.
Yes, Rosamund. Boom.
And you said,
If
so you
the
said it,
cannon started on the correct side of the ship, we would
Yeah.
already be.
Yeah, they were just pulling.
Oh yeah,
these-
they're on the cannons on the
Yeah.
wrong side.
um,
They're just gonna take little pistol shots.
you said he is,
on-
like he's hanging
He's on
on.
death's door.
Okay, I'm just gonna try and make a strike with the Jazale itself.
Sounds cool. Cruel? It sounds
Cool.
Well, yes.
It does sound cruel. Die. Oh, and I don't have another hero point. Okay, I miss.
Okay. So you swing at it, and it breaks off some of it. You can see it
Yeah.
doesn't affect the integrity of the creature at all.
And even so, I know I'm gonna catch something for this, but I'm gonna try to run and go jump onto our ship.
Athletics.
Okay.
And he's going to make a
Yeah,
strike.
there we go. That's what I thought.
Ooh, 26 versus 8.
That does hit. It's not
Not
a
a
crit,
crit.
but it does hit.
So he can't do
No
that
interrupt.
stuff. You're going to take 8 points of slashing as you run. He says,
Okay. But for acrobatics, that is. So you said
Athletics.
athletics. Excuse me. That is a 15 athletics.
15. That's going to be just enough to. You land on the windfall. which we'll
You
call
said
over
8 points of damage.
8 points.
8 points of damage. Okay. All right. And I will spend my last action reloading my gun.
Okay. All right. After Kai, Brooks, you are up.
Okay. Brooks is
You
going
have misfortune.
to. Oh, that's right. Maybe I won't do this then.
Whatever the first
Okay,
thing you do
so-
is
okay.
misfortune.
So where is the elite right next to me, and then
I'll
there's,
have my laser pointer.
And there's one.
This is the elite. This is another elite, and then all the little ones are dead. This one's on death's door over here.
is that the one by my spiritual weapon?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You give me the spiritual weapon.
The
now.
spiritual weapon will attack that one. That one's gonna have
So
misfortune, I
The
guess.
spiritual spectral Brooks like leaps forward and brings down its weapon.
Sustain an action.
Yeah. A natural 20 and a 17. Okay, so
It is absolutely obliterated by the force. The spectral Brooks brings it down, and the bones shatter and splinter into nothingness.
and then I'm going to take. So that's one action.
Yes, because it's sustain.
I'm going to take my. I'll call it pitchfork. My trident, and instead of stabbing, I'm just gonna take the back of it and like crack it over the head.
Like that.
So it's an
Pommel
improvised
strike.
weapon. I'm gonna use a hero point because that was a natural 1.
Okay.
Yeah, that's an 8. Okay, so 8 plus. So plus 1, so 9.
9? No, I'm sorry. It's not gonna do it.
Okay, I'll take my final swing and try it again.
You're gonna. Good luck though.
Oh, that might hit. Oh, actually, probably not.
No, 'cause it was a
Minus
one.
4, so 11.
11. No. So you swing, and it actually
Just like,
mechanically it doesn't really do this, but it pulls up its shield and kind of blocks at you.
okay.
All right, that's it for it. That is for you.
Did you say +1 on the second one?
The jailer. You hear this
low.
absolute horrid screeching and rending from
Standard plus to
downstairs.
hit.
But it's the
for that
wails of
6.
something that cannot do anything about its current situation. This boy got me on a technicality. All right. All right. You earned it with that. Those 30s in there. All right, Wesley, it's your turn.
Let's try and puke.
Okay.
I'm using a different kind.
Roll for puke.
Roll for puke. Literally.
26 versus his DC.
Wesley
standing
just
right next to
retches all over the floor, and you can see the skeleton that was previously scrubbing. No! He was scrubbing for so long. His bones are just
I'm
shaking.
gonna try and trip him.
Okay.
Into the puke.
Is that fortitude or reflex? DC?
Trip is athletics versus reflex.
Okay, go for
Jeez,
it.
man, I hope these skeletons like
So I go
soft
plus
tack.
13 to this. That's a 31.
That's a crit success.
So they are prone and take 1d6 bludgeoning.
So you slip him onto the
And he
puke,
takes 5 bludgeoning.
and you take 5 bludgeoning.
He takes
Oh
5
my
bludgeoning.
gosh.
Injury.
You hear its bone crack as Wesley trips it, and it falls, and parts of its ribcage shatter.
Right, I think we're getting out of here. And then
Yep.
I'll make a leap onto the deck, so that's a
Don't roll.
10-foot stride.
Don't roll.
Just you're Wesley.
Yeah, because
okay?
my DC is reduced by...
like a
Yeah, because the thief, it's like the distance
Like a
you're
toad
going.
on drugs, he is just boing, just over there. Whoa! Here we go.
All right, and then I
Oh, we're on the other side, huh?
turn back
Yeah,
towards
we
the.
still need to get on the ship.
Yep.
Wait,
All
why are
right.
we there if we're putting supplies on the ship?
You're adjacent to it.
Yeah, you're adjacent to the.
The Windfall.
Yeah, it's,
Oh.
it's right there.
Where
We
the
just
crates are is the
we just
Windfall.
haven't gotten
Use
on
your
it yet.
imagination.
I can't
Welcome
see anything.
to role playing. All right. That's
You're,
gonna bring
you're
us
right
to
next to the Windfall.
Skeletons. This one's gonna. This one is gonna stand up.
That's one action.
One action is to stand up, and it's gonna absolutely flail. So like in between it is Cordelia and Ernie.
Yes. I reckon it is.
So it's gonna swing once at Ernie and then once at Cordelia. So it's
And they're
just-
both concealed.
and they're both concealed, so he must roll a flat check for both of them, pass, and fail on Cordelia. So it swings at Ernie, and when it turns around, it's so dazzled that it just completely strikes the wrong way for you. So Ernie, I don't know why I rolled damage. I didn't roll to attack you yet. But it is going to be a 23 versus your AC. Yeah, so it strikes you for a nice 7 damage across the chest. And then covered in vomit, it is going to continue its assault.
Oh no, now it's worse.
This one,
Colorful vomits.
you know what? This one's going to use an action to perceive.
To perceive?
Natural 20.
What did it see?
It's fighting Brooks, but then as it looks up, it sees Frederic. What do you do with a drunken sailor?
Oh, no.
And it's going to stride for one action
Oh no.
over to Frederic.
Did need a an action looking.
Yeah, so it has one strike, and it's gonna make one strike with its spear, and it's gonna go straight for Frederic's back. As he's like behind Ernie, like crouching, like trying to escape, and this thing just comes down, and it is going to lie in the moor.
Maybe he'll miss.
Natural 3,
Oh.
Frederick doesn't have
13 versus Frederic's AC. Miss. It because your level adds to your AC. So Frederic
It's level 20.
No, he might be level 4 or
at whatever
It was
he
worth
is.
a try.
it's 10 plus.
Wait,
Yes.
what was that?
I am the Archwizard.
It's the eternal one.
So it stabs, and Frederic is literally so skinny it just goes through his arm, and he turns. Guy, and he points at the skeleton behind him.
Yep.
All right,
I'm getting stabbed in the front.
all right. I think I'm gonna make it. Frederic goes on your.
Yeah, that's what we did.
So I'm gonna make a roll for Frederic now. He's going to go
Oh wait.
stride. He's gonna see the windfall.
Oh, there is the rope of climbing.
Yeah, he sees the rope and he sees the windfall, and you see him debating: jump, climb, and he looks at his shaky hands.
Do both.
And his little skeleton legs. He jumps, and he smacks against the side of the windfall, and you hear crack, and he goes, and he makes it. He's now hanging over the side, unconscious.
Okay.
And then he begins to
It's better this way.
slip.
As he-
It's worse this way.
As he takes a running jump and slams into the side of the boat, Ernie reaches out his hand towards him as if kind of unconsciously, you know, like when you just like, you're like, ah! and kind of has this, oh no! And as he does that, you hear a loud crack, but it comes from Ernie's rib cage instead of the man. And I need to know how much damage he just took.
4.
Okay, he is fine. I am not.
Okay. You hear him, oh! He breathes, and he's going to use his last action to pull himself onto the deck of the Windfall.
That
was very
wasn't Frederic.
I know, this is Frederic.
Yeah,
I had
you moved him out of the
moved
way 'cause
I
I
had
was
moved the sin spawn because this is the Windfall now, not the
He
jail
just
cell.
jumped into the gym.
Multi-purpose. All right, Frederic is across. That's going to bring us to... I lost my... Who just went?
That was
Ernie's
Frederic, so probably
initiative.
my turn.
No, I had skipped him on your
Ah, I
turn. Something had just stabbed him right at the skeletons.
Yeah.
Oh, so it is your turn.
Okay.
Yeah, because we said
Wow.
he's going on Ernie's initiative.
Go ahead, Ernie.
So I'm there. My rib cage has just made this loud
Cratch.
cracking noise, and I've got my short sword in hand. and I'm just gonna swing at the skeleton in front of me.
Okay. He's
20 to hit.
hits.
All right, is he?
No.
He's not flanking. So that's just gonna be 9 points of damage.
Okay, he's on death's door.
I'm gonna swing a second time at it.
Go for it.
That's gonna be
Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong one. He's on death's door. He's hurt.
23 to hit.
Does hit.
That's another 6 points of damage.
Now he's looking rough.
But I'm gonna swing again.
Oh.
Let it ride.
Oh.
Oh, wait, this is slashing and piercing damage, right?
Yeah.
He's significantly less damage than I said. So as you're
I
making
said
these,
that information.
you're making these really good slices, and you're striking. You can change the third action if you want. And it's slicing, but it's not really doing anything because there's no inner organs for you to target. So it's got a little bit of resistance here.
No, we gotta wait till I gotta get more people off the ship before I go.
Okay.
23. That would be on my third strike. 15 to hit.
No.
Okay.
19 is
So
their
I
AC.
miss on the third one.
All right, that's it for Orny. Cordelia, you are up.
There's 2 elites left on board.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna telekinetic projectile the guy that Ernie's just been
Okay.
beating. Just pick up one of the boards and fling it.
Flies out at him.
17.
17 does not hit, unfortunately.
I'm gonna yell a point because I have a bunch of them. 26.
26 is a hit, absolutely.
That's different.
And this is cantrip, don't forget to scale.
Yes.
Scale
So
those
it's-
cantrips.
2d6. 12 points of bludgeoning damage.
12
She
against
just-
which one?
The one Ernie just
The
attacked.
one Ernie just attacked.
So, as Ernie is slicing the short sword, it's like it's like the health bars, and then suddenly this board comes over and it smashes it and scatters the bones into dust.
And she just shouts, "Get your ass on the boat, Ernie!" And she's gonna try to jump with her last action.
Athletics. Crit fail, come
I am trained in this now.
on. Okay.
You can also take the rope and climb it.
16.
16, you're fine. You land on the
So
windfall, no
athletic.
problem.
Ooh.
All right, so just Brooks and Ernie are left with one skeleton champion. All right.
I think it's Kai's turn.
Wait, someone go back for the skull. Get those soul crystals.
I was thinking about it.
I mean, if we clear out the
All
skull,
right,
it's just one issue.
It's Kai's turn, right?
It's Kai's turn.
Yep. All right. Kai is gonna not so telekinetic projectile.
Just a regular projectile.
And so he.
I would say from your ascended part, because it is a bigger ship, you can see this guy through the other mast. Yeah.
Perfect. So he just kind of lays the Giselle across the railing
Mm-hmm.
and takes fire.
That's an
Natural 20.
Tell me how you destroy this final skeleton.
And so for this one, he's gonna essentially, like I said, he lays it across the railing, takes careful aim, and just, and it drills down through, going straight through the tattered sails, and pierces directly in the middle, shattering a vertebrae, and the skeleton just falls to pieces.
Yeah, one half falls over the railing, the rest just slumps on the ground.
Xylophone sounds.
And then you see, you see it slide, and then everyone, I assume you jump over to the, what are we doing?
I want to grab some of these loose boards that have been.
Okay, roll
Boards
a
that I
d4.
loosen.
Roll a d4, and then you're going to take a penalty to your athletics to get on the windfall.
That's fine.
Am I
I
able
rolled
to,
a
like,
2.
What?
A 2.
You got 2 boards,
Okay.
two supply. All right, now roll your athletics.
Okay.
These are like big boards, like big boards. You're gonna have a penalty.
I might just
Athletic surge.
athletic rush this.
Okay.
So let me see.
No,
what
if you
is
use
that?
athletic rush, you're just gonna succeed. It's fine.
Okay, so I grab the 2 boards and I just.
I gotta get out of here.
Well, it would have been like a lot.
Yeah. So you're falling, and you see the windfall getting farther and farther, and then this surge of heroic energy just sort of like your muscles pulse, and you watch him leap. Not quite as nimbly as a Wesley, but with this powerful presence, you land on the board. Ernie, how do you get across to the windfall?
Well, I start by going into the captain's quarters.
Uh-huh.
and
So they have now separated more Who's got the rope?
Oh, the rope is attached.
It is now threatening to snap the rope as you're
Okay.
getting more and more distance.
It's a magic rope, right?
It's a magic.
Okay, so it has a little more durability.
It's definitely got
than
some more
standard rope does,
durability,
yeah.
but I'm gonna say it's gonna take some strain here. So.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Should we recall the rope?
I'm gonna grab them salt eyes.
Okay. They are lodged in there. As you touch them, make a reflex save.
Oh no, it's
That-
trapped.
That was,
Yeah,
Who could have seen this coming?
That was smart.
Ooh, you got one of them.
Nope.
What's the save?
17.
So you're gonna take the damage initially.
Initially.
You're gonna take 7 points of fire damage as the salt burns into your flesh. Now you need to roll a fortitude save for any long-lasting burns that might affect your
Curse my hubris. Natural 20.
natural. Okay, you take no effect from the salt burns. You can see the windfall now.
Did they pop
stretching.
out?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
You failed. Oh, I'm so sorry. You rolled your reflex for the trap of it, but you didn't actually roll for a disarm. So you can roll thievery real quick, and you already rolled for the trap. So if you succeed, you can still get them.
Thievery.
Thievery. That's
Thievery.
what I'm good at. I rolled low.
What'd you get?
16.
16.
4 plus 12.
The windfall is now pulling apart. You can see the magic rope being strained.
Can I untie the rope and then like hold it with my hand so that it's like it's not?
I don't think you can brace yourself against the full weight of the ship. It'll pull you overboard.
I have athletic rush.
Okay. Would you like to roll? Would you like to roll for it? Or would you like to take my advice?
He's giving you advice. Just recall your advice.
I have 2 hero points.
Someone give this man misfortune.
No,
Okay.
he's already.
I want my rope. But okay, I won't do it.
You're untying it? No. Okay.
I run and jump.
Athletics. Don't you want my salty eyes?
Not enough to try again. 21.
21. You make it across just fine, and you guys land against the bow. Of the
Now I'll
Windfall.
recall the rope. So
Sorry, not the bow, the deck of the Windfall.
Give my rope back.
Fire!
Are we on the right side for that?
Yeah, they had turned it around.
Okay.
That's what took so many turns.
Oh.
Rosamund did not even. The second you said fire,
We've been waiting his whole life for this.
it takes one well-aimed cannon, and you can see the skeleton sloop just sinking and sinking and sinking, and you hear a ghostly remnant voice in the air. What do you do with a drunken sailor? Gone to the depths.
Welcome to the Windfall, Rodrigue. What are you good at?
It's a Frederick.
Yep.
I have many skills.
Not listening, clearly.
Here, eat this. I hand him a leaf from my. Eat it. So, if he has hit points missing, it's 2d8 hit points.
And he breathes. And he looks at his nails. Must have been years. I have had nothing but liquor into my body. You can see like his ribcage poking through. I am a man of my word. In the morning, I will give you the location of the treasure.
Can we make sure he makes it to the morning?
Yeah, somebody get this man some crab stew and send him to the medical cot.
Take out whoever's there. Like,
So he is like he
Poor
needs some
Terry
assistance.
with all of his,
some
like-
crewmates come over and grab him, and they begin escorting him down.
Terry, you healed enough. Get off the medical cot.
And you hear Terry groan and help
wait, you
him
knew
with
his
the
name?
medical cot. You see the captain come out and what the fuck was that? I heard a cannon shot in the middle of the night.
we
Are
beat
the
a
power
ghost
monkeys
ship.
loose again?
We got some supplies.
There's a ghost ship and we raided it.
Of course. All thanks to my careful planning.
That wasn't it.
Behold, supplies and
Supplies.
loot.
Potential loot. We have.
Potential loot.
I burned myself trying to get some.
But we were promised that our new man, who is in the medical bay, knows of a king's hoard.
You hear that? A kingly horde.
That's what
Now, as the sun rises and he points,
I kind of gently.
he moves his hand and then he waits. As the sun rises and the sun comes up,
It's like we still have another 15 minutes.
we are in view of a new island. We'll go here, we'll resupply, and then we head to Fortune.
Hey, Cordy.
So, as the Windfall catches wind, leaving the smoldering ashes of the skeleton ship to fall to the bottom of the sleeping sea. You can see the horizon of the island. Not much. A long incline, a jagged cliff-like surface, but very clearly at the foot of it, a chalice-like structure, 6 feet tall, with a bright, burning flame. And that's where we'll go ahead and end our session for today.
We did it. We solved the skeleton
We
puzzle.
did
I
it.
gotta
You
say,
solved this.
I had to decide.
You got the
between-
supplies and Frederic, which I didn't think was going to happen. That guy
And
was
a cool
gonna-
hat.
Yeah, and the cool
I had
hat.
to decide between trying to get the salt eyes or taking the moonshine jug and lighting the ship on fire. And I gotta tell you, there's never been a harder decision. in
That's
my
gotta
life.
be. So you got a shade hat. I will make you an item card for it.
It just makes shade.
You feel
Do you want me to tell you
cool
what it
in
is
the
out
sun.
loud? Do you okay if I spoil
It
a
lets
little
you
bit?
insult people subtly.
It's a giant captain style hat, like ostentatious, huge. I mean, when I say the brim is wide, it's like a 3-foot wide brim. Feathers, the whole thing.
Very
It's a
aerodynamic.
church lady hat.
Yeah, this comfortable and stylish wide brim magical hat protects you from heat in hot areas, even when the heat doesn't come from the sun. You are protected from mild and severe heat.
Oh,
That's pretty good.
Very nice.
I'm good to Cass.
She has one.
Oh, she hasn't? Never
That's the same
mind.
hat she's wearing. I described it earlier. It's just a kind of rolled for this magic
Then I
item.
want to
Different
be
color.
like Cass.
I want to be like Cass. All right. Oh crap! At the model I had now. We can only hope. All right. Well, y'all, remember no Windfall next week. It was a blast. Thank you everyone that was hanging out. The lurkers, the people that were interacting with the chat, the people with redeems. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for the misfortune.
Be sure to check out the YouTube. Go check out the YouTube and check out the shorts and the videos there. We love you all very much, and we will see you next time on The Sleeping Sea.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
Bye,
Chad.
y'all.